from Mr. Duro. He is the head of innovations and is the vice president at AfrigoPay. And then we'll have a panel discussion that will be championed by John, and a presentation as well from Mr. Ibiroba. I hope I'm doing justice to his names. And then we'll have a fireside chat with some of the other heavyweights, and then we'll close the session for the day. So let us kick off by welcoming Mr. Peter Oluka to give us his welcome remarks. PFON is an organization that is premiering conversations around payment with thought leaders, and Mr. Peter is here to tell us more about it. Thank you so much. Round of applause.
Good morning, everyone. First of all, I want to start by apologizing to us that we are starting behind schedule. We had in mind to start before now at exactly 9 a.m. But nevertheless, we're going to see how we're going to rush it to make sure that we don't eat into your time for today. So my name is Peter, like I introduced, the co-convener of PFON, and it is my pleasure to welcome you this morning to this year's edition of Payments Forum Nigeria. This is a platform dedicated to shaping the future of digital payments and financial services in our country. Nigeria stands at a critical juncture and the financial inclusion journey. According to EFINA, Access to Financial Services Survey, as of 2023, about 64% of Nigerian adults, now have access to financial inclusion or financial services rather, and that's an encouraging leap from 56% in 2020. However, this still leaves over 30 million people or Nigerians, adults, financially excluded, many of whom reside in rural areas or belonging to vulnerable demographics. So as digital infrastructure grows and fintech innovations accelerates, we must channel this advancement toward building a more inclusive, secure, and trusted financial ecosystem. This is not just about transactions, it's about empowerment, opportunity, and economic participation for all. PFON 2.0, with the team bridging the customer service gap for financial inclusion using AI, brings together brilliant minds and key industry stakeholders across banking, finance, fintech, regulation, and technology. And most importantly, the mobile money agents who interact directly with the customers. And together we are going to explore the challenges and unlock the potential of digital growth to drive inclusive growth in Nigeria. Let's share, engage, share insights, and most importantly, collaborate for a financial inclusive future. I want to also thank our keynote speaker, who is also represented here this morning. She had a very urgent call, and she had to be somewhere. A special guest, I want to thank you, Mr. Osu, for being here personally. Thank you so much. I want to thank Mr. Birowa, who is also here. Thank you so much. You are one of us already now. The Lagos Blockchain Week. I want to thank you and everyone who is seated here this morning. I want to tell you something. That Nigeria is going to move forward because of you and I, and Africa is going to make it because of our efforts. So you and I are important in this game. And because you are here this morning, I want to say thank you for being here because you are the champion. Thank you. Let's go ahead and make a change. Thank you.
Nigeria will be better. And you could just sing the national anthem. Only 3 people here. Mommy that sang the national anthem. Only she and AfrigoPay believe that Nigeria will be better. Okay, who here believes that Nigeria will be better for them? Nigeria will be better for all of us. And that's why we're here. That's why we're having these kinds of conversations. But I know that there is a particular reason why some of us are here today. And I would like to hear from anyone here, no pressure. Because me, when I'm sitting in the crowd and someone comes to give me a mic, my face will be very strong. so that they will not give me this mic. But I would like to hear from anybody who would want to share why they are here today. Anyone that wants to share why they are here today? Me, I'm looking forward to hearing the innovations of AI. I work in fintech, I work in vendor credit, and we use AI in our daily operations. I want to learn new insights. And so I'll pick someone from you. This is supposed to be like an interactive thing. So if you want at me with side eye like, is that, but I think I would pick you, because you're looking very serious. Is there, would you like to share with us why you're here today? Your expectations, basically. Something you're looking forward to learning. Your name, what you do, and then share with us. Thank you.
My name is Adela Kennedy. I'm front end and back end. Actually, I'm here because I want to have more insight into this AI. Basically.
Absolutely. And that's very fair enough. Thank you, sir. So we're all here to learn more about this AI. What is this AI? So we're hearing about ChatGPT. We're seeing suggestions from Gmail and suggestions from Grammarly. Even on LinkedIn now, there are suggestions on how to make your writing better. There's AI for video editing. There's AI that can replace you basically in so AI is really taking over, and we want to learn how we can leverage AI in our daily operations and in everything that we do. Can we just do like a quick roll call? If you are in fintech here, raise your hands. Fintech. Oh, nice. A good representation. Agri-tech. Agri-tech. Okay. Edu-tech. Educational tech. Anybody? Health tech. Okay, banking. Anyone in banking? Anyone in media? Aha, I'm saying my media guys. Reason why I'm asking this is that in everything it is that we're doing now, AI is slowly seeping in and slowly taking over. AI is taking center stage. In Nigeria today, the Nigerian AI market now is grossing, or is expected to gross over $430 million by 2026. And this is a 44% compound annual growth rate. So it is really a topical conversation that we're having today. And so it's really important that we pay attention and ask questions. There is no right or wrong question. We don't know basically what AI is, and we're here to learn. Even though we know high level what it is, but we're here to maybe unlearn some of the things that we think that we know, and then assimilate new things, right? So that we're then speak entirely about AI and how it can help us in our various endeavors, whether it is fintech, agri-tech, health tech, or any type of tech. Now, just very quickly, we have our special guests, some special guests in the house. We have remarks by Uche Uzoebo, MD, CEO of SANEF. We'll also have a goodwill message by Mr. Iburoba Oluwagowa. And just very quickly, we want to know if Uche Uzoebo is around. If not, we'll prepare. Okay, she's around, so we can hear from our special guest, Uche Uzoebo. She has a very impressive profile that I'm going to read, forgive me with all the papers, but I'm going to read her profile now. Really impressive. So Uche Uzoebo is the second CEO of SANEF Limited, and she is an experienced banker because prior to her appointment, She served as the Chief Distribution and Stakeholder Engagement Officer at Sanef Limited since inception, and she's credited with driving business stakeholder expansion and strategic initiatives that has enabled the organization to meet its core objectives through agent expansion, account opening, product and services, technology solutions, policy advocacy, stakeholder engagement, financial literacy, capacity building, and awareness. Uche is a passionate and renowned expert in financial inclusion, digital transformation, inclusive finance, and women empowerment in Nigeria. In fact, I saw how she contributed towards this last International Women's Day. She's a very loud voice in the things of women inclusion and the likes. Mrs. Uche Uzebo has led strategic project initiatives focused on expanding economic inclusion and diligently worked on empowering women as a gender specialist and advocate with special focus on supporting women entrepreneurs, digitally transforming businesses and the society. And as a reputable certified trainer, Uche has delivered high-impact training and well-tailored programs to deepen knowledge and thought leadership. She has also contributed to published works, spoken at fintech and finance-related conferences, thereby providing a strong voice in advancing financial inclusion and digital payments. Her practice engagements involve policy and strategic management interventions, and under her leadership, Sanef Limited is committed to achieving excellence, greater growth, development, and expansion to stakeholders in the ecosystem. Uche is a certified product manager, certified licensed national business development service provider. She's a member of the Association of International Product Marketing and Management. She's a Global Women in Management member. She's an honorary society senior member of BHCID, the Chartered Institute of Bankers in Nigeria, CIBN. She's a fellow of Acumen, West Africa, and a fellow of the Microfinance Association of the UK. Sanef serves as an enabler in the economic and financial inclusion ecosystem in Nigeria, collaborating with various stakeholders to expand the frontiers of financial inclusion. Ladies and gentlemen, Mrs. Uche Uzwebo here to give us her special remarks.
Good morning, distinguished guests. Good morning. Fellow stakeholders in the financial service industry, esteemed colleagues, ladies and gentlemen, all other protocols duly observed. I am honored to be here at this Payment Forum Nigeria Outcome 2.0 to discuss a topic that is timely and critical to our collective objective of deepening and widening financial inclusion in Nigeria. The theme of today's forum, Bridging the Customer Experience Gap for Financial Inclusion Using Artificial Intelligence, highlights how technology can serve as a powerful lever in reaching the underserved, while also emphasizing our shared responsibility to do so ethically and securely. It is no gainsaying that artificial intelligence is transforming the financial services industry at an unprecedented pace, reshaping how businesses interact with customers, manage risk, and expand financial inclusion. It has become the invisible engine driving the modernization of financial products and services. It is no longer a futuristic concept. It is at the work. It is at the work right now all over the world, powering mobile banking apps, automating customer service, detecting fraud, and enabling instant lending decisions. In Nigeria, where millions remain unbanked and underbanked, artificial intelligence presents a game-changing opportunity to bridge financial gaps, enhance accessibility, and improve the overall efficiency of the financial ecosystem. As technology evolves within the financial ecosystem, financial inclusion must continue to be at the center of our progress. Agent banking has been a game changer in expanding financial inclusion across Nigeria, across all the geopolitical zones, and indeed in all the 774 local government areas we have. By deploying agents in underserved areas, we have brought financial services and banking products such as account opening, deposit and withdrawal, what we commonly know as cash in, cash out, bill payment, transfers, and other services closer to the unbanked and underserved. Before now, you will agree with me that sometime in 2018, even before COVID, a lot of people were averse to going to meet an agent to pick up money. But during COVID, what happened? That was embraced. Even that mama in that community would want to get her money to be able to buy food during that COVID. So we know that agent banking has come to stay. With the agent banking model, SANEF has bridged critical gaps by reducing the need for long queues in physical bank branches, allowing individuals in the hinterland areas to access banking services without traveling long distances. This was not also achieved alone, but it was also achieved with the ecosystem, the financial service providers, the licensed super agents, mobile money operators, the banks, the fintechs. And that is why SANEF is known to be an enabler in the ecosystem. Additionally, agents often communicate in local languages, make transactions easier for those with limited literacy, while reducing reliance on complex documentation. This has remained a critical and important elixir in financial inclusion. Artificial intelligence is the next frontier in the advancement of financial inclusion. It guarantees speed, automation, unlike traditional financial processes. With artificial intelligence, we can scale financial inclusion more efficiently, ensuring that no one is left behind in the digital economy. Essentially, artificial intelligence can help us to minimize the KYC roadblocks, detect fraud and flag suspicious activities in real time, thus enhancing greater trust in digital payments and solutions. Personalize and tailor financial products and services according to customer-specific needs, amongst other key benefits and advantages. Nevertheless, in utilizing artificial intelligence to enhance financial inclusion and provide these advanced financial products and services, we must all adhere to established regulatory guidelines to ensure that this powerful technology is deployed responsibly, ethically, and securely. The use of artificial intelligence in payment solutions and within the broader financial inclusion industry must comply with existing regulatory frameworks, such as the Central Bank of Nigeria's Consumer Protection Framework, Nigerian Data Protection Act, the NDPA, and National Information Technology Development Agency's Data Protection Regulations. You agree with me that without regulatory frameworks and if we don't adhere to certain policies, we might not get it right with the beautiful ideas that we have. Ladies and gentlemen, if we get this right and harness the capabilities of artificial intelligence while ensuring strict adherence to these regulatory stipulations, we can unlock unprecedented opportunities for financial inclusion in Nigeria. We can reach that trader in Kano, even in the remote areas in Kano. We can reach that small farmer in Benue. And of course, that petty trader in Aba, who does not have traditional banking records, and offer them fair, secure, and innovative financial solutions. However, the success of these technologies depends not just on innovation, but on trust. We must work tirelessly to guarantee that our artificial intelligence systems respect the individual privacy, maintain equitable standards for all, and remain transparent in their operation. I encourage all of us, financial institutions, fintech, development partners, and all other stakeholders to collaborate in creating an environment where artificial intelligence accelerates financial inclusion without sacrificing consumer protection or privacy. By so doing, we will build a more inclusive, equitable, and prosperous Nigeria for generations to come. Thank you for your attention, and I look forward to further engagement, conversations, discussions, and collaborative efforts in bridging the customer experience gap for financial inclusion using artificial intelligence.
Thank you. I don't think we understand the gravity of financial inclusion and how important it is. She mentioned a farmer in Kano, people that are in remote areas, people that don't even know what 2G is, and we're enjoying 5G in Lagos. And these guys, if they see edge, they celebrate. So that's how really important it is that these kinds of conversations are happening, are being held, so that we can also even hold ourselves accountable and say, oh, this was discussed sometime, so time ago. Where are we now in terms of financial inclusion? Thank you so much, Mrs. Uche Zebo. I don't know if we have, please, a round of applause for her. Sharing a wealth of knowledge, because, and I know that some of us might have questions that we're not seeing that we'll probably want to ask her. We can ask the questions, but I would want to take reactions just very quickly because of time. I know that we are lagging behind in terms of time, but I would like to get reactions from what she has shared. I don't know if anybody would like to speak to it. Just very quickly, anything. Thank you so much, sir. Your name and what you do.
All right, my name is Israel Shima, chairman of the US Cultural and Innovation Association of Nigeria. And I want to thank each of you for a wonderful presentation she was just about. Well, she has elaborated everything, but the only point I would like to still push to her or to organize her is, you see, within the financial inclusion, as she has rightly said, we have more than 40% of the adulthood, and on a daily basis, young ones cross into adulthood, and Saneva, she in particular, I think I've known her for more than 10 years in the industry. She played a vital role in making Saneva to where it is today. And I want to say thank you very much. Keep doing the good work. And again, I still want to challenge Saneva to see how the inclusiveness of the local and rural area, as she has highlighted, how do we, as various units of financial inclusion through Summit, how do we penetrate and make sure these rural people get the right information that will drive the goodness and the productivity in them out to make Nigeria better. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. But I don't know if you want to respond to that.
Thank you very much for that. And yes, there's still, even though a lot has been done, there's still a lot to be done. And one thing I say is that no man can do it alone. So collaboration is now the new competition. Collaborating with each. So for instance, someone will ask, why is it that every day you come out and there's still another bank? We will have banks, isn't it? Why are the licenses still increasing? Oh, tomorrow you'll hear another fintech. Because what A has, each and every one of them have their unique potential. Last 2 weeks, I was at the launch of Palmpay's their card. Congratulations again, Mr. Chika Wosu. And what the essence of that card is actually to be in the hands of these millions of people. Okay, we're talking about digital solution, collaboration. That card was launched in collaboration with Ver. Good. Now, that collaboration is where we come in because we are the ecosystem enablers and we pull everyone together to be able to achieve that goal for that mama, that local, in Nasarawa, that local government, even my own local government where I come from. Because Vincent A might have the solution, but he cannot do it alone. So the sooner we start looking at whatever we do as collaboration and not competition, that is when we'll be able to address even the immediate needs and the remaining ones, and we'll be able to include them. Not necessarily trying to say, oh, I'm the only one that did. Nobody can do that in there. If that was possible, then the president would have been ruling Nigeria alone without cabinets.
What we need to do, we need to work together. We've identified all the issues. I remember in 2018, December 2018, January 2018, we didn't have up to 50,000 agents. Yes, they have the data. We didn't have that, but today, it's now a BA, it's standard. Well, agents are everywhere. Nobody, even including you and I, people were skeptical. Why should I go and collect money from this? But today, if I ask people here, how many of you walk into the banking hall to collect money? Instead, what you even do is to go and pick up even picking up the cards, agents today, they can give you. How many of us, we only even walk into that banking hall to people will have some form of very serious issues. Gone are the days, because you look left, look right. When you check your transportation fee of going to the bank, what do? If you do the mathematics, you rather pay the fee to the agent and collect your money and give whoever you want to, or do your transaction, even transfers, bill payment. So the one is acceptability, that the knowledge, and also the financial literacy is another area where we're also going to amplify, because there's still that knowledge gap. When they say financial literacy, it's not just about knowing how to. Why do they need one? Why do you need to open an account? And also economic inclusion. We also need to start looking at one thing is to tell somebody to open an account. You're telling someone to open an account, that's when the person has something to do and you have any, isn't it? If you don't have any form of what are you opening their account? So we also need to look at those areas, how we can empower the community to be able to have one thing or the other to do. Agent banking, we see, has also addressed some of these non-employment issues. Today, a lot of us here, you're not having that brother or somebody telling you, oh, could give me. Instead, what you do, you set them up to become an agent in that neighborhood, in the village. Where I come from, there's normally, like, of course, people, they call it all the NIOs. So what has happened? They have now started making income for themselves. So instead of that 50K, I'm going to just give you and you put it in your pocket. Translate it, use that 50K as your startup capital, and you're turning it around, and you stop becoming that boy in the village that is always begging for money. So if each and every one of us look at empowerment like that, because we all come from that, we're not from Lagos. When I say Lagos, we're not all born here. We have our, if you look at it like that, I think those issues will also be addressed, of course, with the financial service provider coming up with all different types of solutions. We should be able to address all these issues at no time. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ma. Collaboration and not competition. That was very profound. Thank you so much, Ma. Because of time, we're trying to speed up, and so we would now take the goodwill message from Mr. Ibirogba Oluwagunwa. He is the Lagos State Chapter Chair of AMBAN. A round of applause as he takes the stage. Keep clapping till he gets to the stage.
Good morning, everyone. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and standing on the existing protocol. I would like to say it's an honor to be here this morning to give this goodwill message. Well, thank you very much, Mrs. Oziobo. Sorry if I don't pronounce it properly. Forgive me. All right. Like it's rightly said, I represent AMBAN, Association of Mobile Money and Bank Agents, and thank you, my colleague that is here, POS Aggregators. I think we've come a long way. Fund is trying to do something exceptional. And with this nice topic, bridging the customer experience gap for financial inclusion using AI. AI is a new normal, but let us look at it. Without the cultural interface, without the human interface, there will be no AI. And where does that come in? Me and you. And for AI to succeed, we need ourselves to be able to move forward. So in my good message, I'm just going to talk about briefly about, I'm supposed to talk about challenges and prospects. So in that, AMBAN, like I already said, is an association of mobile money and bank agents in Nigeria, and is a key player in Nigeria's financial inclusion efforts, working to facilitate and organize the efforts of mobile money bank agents, particularly in promoting cashless transactions and e-payment. Our key roles, which brothers essentially, is to widen and deepen financial inclusion by enabling mobile phone users to conduct financial transactions without cash, such as payments, transfers, and bills payments. Though we know we are struggling with this presently because Nigeria is cash-based. Nobody wants to deal cashless. Why? The network is still failing us. When you expect to do the transaction, maybe that's when it will now be spilling. And an average agent becomes the culprit. They've debited my account. I don't have cash. You tell him the transaction is declined. He looks at you and says, bros, my account has been debited. I need my cash. We become the first point of attack. We become the first point of assault. We become the first point of insults. You also become the first point of exploitation. Not only from the environment, even for those that are supposed to actually protect the lives and property of the police. Because then they look at you, okay, bring him in, and at the end of the day, they look at your register and they see, oh, 10 million. Policeman does not do anything again. They will hold you accountable. And basically, they want to collect the cash because they see the transactions, but they don't know. Does he have the cash? No. But they will give you a bill. So, we together have to work together. The fintechs have a role to play. We have a role to play. Sanef, it's nice meeting you for the first time. My brother has met you a long time. So, I am meeting you, but the journey has started so far. So, I hope we are going to have something. So, AMBAN also goes about organizing and facilitating agent efforts. AMBAN helps organize training. We also organize some collaborative works, not only with fintechs, with other forms of lives, insurances, medicals, even some lotteries are trying. And what we do is to help people get easy access because, like you already said, serving your bank, trying to get things as easy as possible. I've not entered the bank in a long while. Do I need to? Will you need to? Because I can come out and I can turn to the side and I can see a kiosk or see a cubicle and I do my transactions and I'm off. Why will I go into a bank hall and somebody will say, oh, welcome. Or is it welcome to First Bank or welcome to Wema Bank? And then we walk inside and say, queue. We don't have that patience. And that is where we have to work together. AMBAN also promotes cashless transactions and e-payments, enabling mobile phone users to make bills, conduct other financial transactions without cash exchange. AMBAN focuses on matters related to financial inclusion essentially, because that is the core of life. That's the core of business. That's the core of every interactions that we have. AMBAN also addresses challenges faced by agents, including the cost of running business, which has gone through the roof right now. And everything is going through the roof. Everybody has an excuse. But can we do it alone? No. We have to still do it together. We have to share this burden. We have to carry out a lot of orientations. We have to carry out a lot of training. And for we to improve the customer experience, I think we have to take it away from the basic, uneducated, unrefined set of people It's not because they are all refined. It's because we have taken our cultural base. We are now focusing on AI, but we need the cultural base to create a platform so that the AI can now take off from. Because without that platform, we are actually going nowhere. Okay? AMBAN also engages stakeholders, including the central bank, SANEF, and so many to advocate for interests of mobile money and bank agents. Training and retraining. This is essential. We can't do it alone. We also need your support. Like we also, I know my brother here, I've been on his tail for quite some time right now. He's been very busy. You didn't invite me for your, because part of our training, part of our orientation is, well, we have the national conference. The state also have its own symposium, which is coming up very soon. This is not an advert, just part of what we do. Literacy awareness among the public, particularly the undeserved communities and partnerships. And AMBAN also partners with various organizations, including insurance companies to provide services and support for the members and the community at large. We have work to do. SANEF will not exist without the people. PAMPay, OPay, Money Point will not exist without the people. And Nigeria is a very large market. And we need to start doing things differently. Cannot continue doing things the same old way. We have to collaborate. We have to train. Even the agent that is by the side of the road that feels that, okay, I'm just going to hang it. We need to train them to understand what they call dignity of labor. And that is what the federal government is also preaching. So, aside that, AMBAN partnership, AMBAN also tries to help agents and help the people to increase or to make experiences. In view of the past experiences of mobile money and agency banking, especially in Nigeria, as regards money theft, robbery attacks, loss of funds, closing down of agents outlets, and among others. This really happened during the COVID era. It also happened during the cashless era. It was two blows within a short period of time. Now, how do we handle that? Are we going to keep looking at it? I think we also need to sit down, rethink, reassess, reapproach, and see how things are going to move forward, because life is not the same. The life of 1970 is quite from the life of 1990. And the life of 1990 is quite different from the life of 2000. And 2000 is quite different from what we have now. We have the Gen Zs. They talk in millions. They don't talk in kobo. We spoke in kobo. We spoke in naira. But now it is millions. So how do we move the millions? How do people get access to things easily? How do they transact nice and easy? So a lot of things are happening. Funds are missing. You will see your funds on your terminal right now. And in another 5-10 minutes later, it's gone. Who is to blame? The agents are also at the brunt of it. How can we bridge customer experience? The fintechs is needed. The law enforcement are needed. Specific guidelines need to be put in place. And this is what AMBAN is also canvassing for. Why? So that we can have a harmony in the ecosystem, to be able to monitor, guide, do a lot of things in making sure that our ecosystem is friendly, so that we can make life easier and better. We cannot change it all, but we can mitigate it. Crime is evolving, because as we are thinking of solution, the criminal is also thinking of a way out. AI is a very nice platform. Somebody can sit in his house and he can move my funds in my account. And I am holding my platform and I'm thinking I'm safe. Some time ago, we had about hacking a system, a financial institution. And what happened? Billions was missing. Where did it go? Who took it? And they could actually put some things at the front of it. Even the police also are not helping matters. You will see that a lot of agents are at different times. taken round, money extorted from them, and at the end of the day, they are let go after money has been taken. How do we curtail that? How do we mitigate it? Or how do we protect ourselves? Because one thing or the other, for a better consumer experience, the person offering that consumer experience must also be protected so that they will not be relating in anger. They will not be relating in pain. Rise of market, things in the market, cost of papers, cost of data, cost of so many things is skyrocketing. I wish the telecoms are here because I think we also need to drag them because right now they said they have increased tariff. And one thing you have seen is that the tariff has increased and the rate of consumption has also quadrupled. So what do we do? How do we solve this? We need to have this kind of events together so that we can together take things to the next level. Thank you very much. And it was nice having this discussion.
Thank you so much, Mr. Igirogba. I think, can you guys hear me? I think what is important to be stated is how we have over 40% of people with bank accounts in Nigeria, or 45%, but there is still 35 million unbanked people. And I keep making reference to us here in Lagos because maybe we take for granted these things, right? But we have these 35 million people, and those are the people that we are here for. Those are the people that we are fighting for. And even for ourselves as well, because now we can move money, we can move millions without moving from where we are. And it's important for these kind of conversations. And thankfully, PayPhone has taken that initiative to foster collaboration. We've been hearing collaboration for a while now. And so to foster collaboration, to foster innovation through these kinds of conversations. And we're thankful to PayPhone. So very quickly, because of time, we will just speed to the next thing. And it's a presentation by Mr. Chika Nwosu. He is the MD CEO of PalmPay. We are all very familiar with PalmPay. So when I finish reading his bio and he's climbing the stage, clap for him like you are very aggressive about it because he deserves it. They just did a launch now and some of us were not invited. So don't use that to not clap for him. But let's encourage him because Mr. Chika is a trailblazer in the fintech industry. His leadership skills have been instrumental in driving PalmPay's success and transforming the digital payment landscape in Nigeria. His journey reflects a wealth of experience and expertise, making him a standout figure in the dynamic world of corporate leadership. The platform recently celebrated a milestone, reaching 35 million users, with a remarkable 20 million joining in just 2023 alone. Nwosu stands celebrated for leading one of the most innovative fintech teams in Nigeria. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Chika Nwosu, the MD CEO of PalmPay. Please a round of applause for him as he takes the stage. Keep clapping for him as he takes the stage. Keep clapping for him as he takes the stage. I think we'll do our exercise again because like we're sleeping.
Thank you very much. Thank you, my brother. I'm sorry that I didn't invite you to me. Honestly, it speaks my mind, you know. And secondly, for the past 2 months, I've been so busy traveling around. So definitely, there's going to be so many other launches, and we're going to do it together. Thank you. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Good morning, partners, distinguished guests. Without wasting much of your time, so I'm honored to join all the key stakeholders here at Payments Forum Nigeria, 2nd edition, discussing how technology is redefining not just how we live, but how we transact, how we access and how we build trust in financial systems. These conversations are vital to Nigeria development, especially as we explore how artificial intelligence can drive innovation, efficiency, inclusive growth across sectors. At Pompe, we don't see financial inclusion as a buzzword. We see it as a responsibility and a mission to ensure that no one in Nigeria, regardless of where they live, how much they earn, is left behind in this digital economy. Pompe has made a great stride in onboarding over 35 million users to explore seamless digital banking. But onboarding is only step one. The real challenges and opportunity is ensuring that these users can trust and benefit from these services with ease and confidence. At Pompe, we are already harnessing AI to optimize, firstly, our fraud detection system to enhance security. Operational efficiency, we leverage AI to eliminate repetitive text and long onboarding wait time, hence boosting operational efficiency and ultimately reducing the cost of operation. AI customer service in-app. With AI-powered customer service inbuilt into the Pompe app, you get instant answers, 24/7 support, and faster issue resolution anytime you need help. Bank Monitor, we show you the real-time success rate of recipient banking before you make a transfer, so you can avoid delays, you can avoid failed payment and suspended transactions and so on. You know, most of you who are using Pompe can testify to this. If you want to do a transfer from Pompe app, once you initiate the payment, it will show you the intensity of the network of the beneficiary financial institution. So this is one of the things we have done. So technology alone is not enough. In Pompe, we believe in building trust, not just tools. We have earned recognition as a key driver of financial inclusion by the CBN. And we are doubling our effort across the country to ensure that financial inclusion is achieved. Looking ahead, we must always prioritize financial inclusion as a key driver to the economy prosperity by effectively utilizing AI to optimize customer experience. We can empower individuals, support businesses, and create valuable impact across board. Together, we can bridge the gap and unlock Nigerian potential. Thank you very much, and God bless you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Mr. Chika. Please keep clapping for him until he gets to his seat. Let's exercise our hands. Thank you so much, sir. Just very quickly, we want to recognize a few people here. Like I said, these people have taken time off their very busy schedules to be here with us today. We would like to recognize Bemiho Awaka. I hope I pronounced that well. Or Awala. Awala is the head public and media relations at Money Point. And also Adaeze Onwubuemeli. She's the head customer support operations at Money Point. And also there is Mr. Olusoji Solomon Adeyemo. He is Azure application and AI specialist at Microsoft UK. And Mr. Olusegun Gabriel Afolabi, co-founder, chief innovations architect at Phase Technologies UK Limited. They will be joining our panel discussion. Just very quickly, because of time, we're speeding through. And we'll be having a presentation now. I'm sure a lot of you have been looking forward to this one because it is on cybersecurity. It would be done by Mrs. Happiness Obioha, CEO TCL Cybersecurities Limited. Please, a resounding round of applause for her. She is the CEO of TCL Cybersecurity Limited, Mrs. Happiness Obioha. Happiness Obioha is a seasoned business executive and cybersecurity expert, and she's certified She's a certified Chief Data Protection Officer. And with a commitment to innovation and excellence, Happiness continues to drive strategic initiatives that shape the future of cybersecurity and data protection. With Happiness, over to you, Ma. Thank you. A round of applause, please.
Thank you, everyone. Good morning, and I really welcome the Honorable Distinguished CEO, Senior Executive, and my fellow colleagues. Thank you for the platform, and thank you for the organizers as well for this opportunity. Okay, my name is Happiness. So of course, I've been in cybersecurity for more than 15 years. And I'm really glad what is happening within our country, of course, our environment as well, looking at the event and how it's really shaping, the business environment. But the overall is also, looking at the cybersecurity aspects, because yes, the AI is very, very good, but then securing your environment goes a long way because everything has to be well checked and of course has to be well balanced as well. So, okay, before the slide. So there are a couple of things I put down in the course of this event, and that's also around identity theft and payment fraud, which has long been threat to individuals and business alike, from traditional methods and stealing personal information through phishing emails and card scheming to more sophisticated cyber attack. We have seen a lot, just as I really appreciate Madam Uche, and of course the initiative and the real hard work, she's putting through, and the team as well. I pray that we'll really scale and also strive more. And then we look at, of course, the financial fraud, which is mostly the result of human error. We can never take away, the insider threats. We can never take away, the behavioral analytics. And this is why we also have the AI as well. But then, this has really caused a lot within the digital transformation, especially from the fintech, from the financial, services. So this morning, because of the time, I just wanted to speak briefly for TECHECONOMY, where we stand. So basically, I'm in TESL. So where we stand is to support businesses from the cybersecurity arm. And this is especially providing solutions, to support, to scale up, to grow the business, starting from the fraud management, which actually give you real-time fraud detections across boards, even down to the ATM machine that you have, your card, you'll be able to monitor transactions, and of course, give you analytic reports, whether executive or technical, whatever you may look like. So these are also part of the solution we are providing. The other aspect is the data loss prevention, because for every organization, what is critical is the people and the data. So you also need to monitor how your data strive, across all the channels. We have the email, we have the web, we have the Nigerian firewall, we have your core banking. So you need to monitor how your data goes, even as much as you classify all this data, apply policies. You also must to make sure, everything is on check and well checked as well. And then the other solutions we also provide is around database activity monitoring. And then we have so this has to do with your mobile banking app, your internal application, your external applications. With this solution, you'll be able to monitor, across, and of course, inject all the security tools to make sure your environment is well protected, especially from all these botnets and other attacks from different angles. And then the other solutions, which is also very critical, is around Netcraft, which is brand protection, site takedown, dark web monitoring. These are some of the tools we have put in place. Most of all these tools, they use advanced artificial intelligence, to monitor and also to make sure your environment is well protected. Each of them has the behavioral analytic to inject it, to make sure, you could also monitor behaviors of users, at every point in time, whether it's also able to detect whether it's a user or AI. These solutions actually give you that overview, in order to detect whatever happening within your environment. And then the other solutions we provide is around, your firewall to protect your firewall. And then also, okay, you need to, so maybe let me just, the third slide or second slide. So let me just speak on that briefly so we can wrap. Okay, the next slide, please. Okay, so this is our capability. So I was speaking, so we have, sorry, go back to the, yes. So we have two core solutions. One is for the cybersecurity service, is where we support our in-house services, which we provide the vulnerability and penetration testing. It's very good. We have organizations, we do that twice a year, thrice a year, quarterly basis. It's very, very important to know how vulnerable your environment is. So it's very, very important you undergo this exercise. Then the other things around customized software, we also build customized software, whether financial, mobile application, education. So these are space we play and support. And then for the NDPR, we are NDPR licensed DPCO in Nigeria. And also we also file GDPR because we support some of our customers across the globe. So we are certified data guard organization. And then the other point solutions is around the fraud management, which of course I've talked briefly, centering around monitoring fraud as the transaction moves. And then the DLP, which is very important, monitoring your data, protect your data across all the web channels. And then the other ones is the DAM database is basically to monitor the database where you store critical information, especially customer data. It's very important to put security around it. With the solution in place, you monitor who is having access, who is trying to do what, at what point. And of course, database is an in-house solution, which sits with is an on-prem, where you have full visibility of all activity happening within your data. And then we have the API. API, what it does is kind of integration across your internal application, your external application, third-party application. You can integrate and then have full visibility of all activity, whether in the cloud or on-prem. Yes, that's what the solution does. And then for the PAM is about, privileged access monitoring, to give access rights. So we have the NAC, we have the SIM, and the SOC, which is the overall big brother of all this, where you install or integrate all the stacks you have within your environment, to give you full visibility and also to monitor attacks in different corners. So the other thing we have is the network infrastructure, which has to do with the firewall and server. So we also manage installations and then support services. For us, we have a lot of customers, but what has really played out for us and of value is about the local support. We provide enhanced local support, our highly qualified team. We also train customers, maybe you have software or the application internally, and there is guys to man or your team, they're not really eligible to really manage the solution. So we can come in to train your team as well. And of course, we are also PCB certified, local partner and ISO certifications as well. These are some of the things we provide. I'm really glad for this section today. And I know, of course, I've also come to learn, but then we need this kind of platform, need this kind of forum from time to time to really educate everyone. And also looking forward to see how we can marry cybersecurity and the AI, because we need to bridge the gap. We need to monitor, all activities and make sure we're balancing as much as AI is really playing a critical role. But of course, we also need to have in mind there is a place of forensic where the human aspect really comes in. You can never take that out. So I really appreciate the opportunity and thanks everyone for your time. And I also said, please continue to enjoy the show. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Mrs. Happiness Obioha. Please continue clapping for her until she gets her seat. Thank you so much. It's interesting to know that in cybersecurity, they are there to still protect us as our guys. Our guys, as they're getting smarter, we have companies like TCL Cybersecurity to protect us and to keep everything balanced. Okay, because we're still speeding through the agenda, and I hope we're learning. I hope we're learning. We'll soon do our exercise again, and so we'll come up. You just throw the buzzwords, but because of time, we would also get precisely point microfinance bank. The D has representative, Ni Ogun. She's the customer seed at Money Point Microfinance Bank. A round of applause for her as she takes the stage. Oluwabumi Ogunyemi from Money Point Microfinance Bank.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Oluwabumi Ogunyemi, representing Money Points, and it's a pleasure to be here to discuss this interesting and impactful topic. Yeah, so the first thing I would really like to point out is a simple truth about the financial service, especially in Nigeria and what we practice today. And basically, this simple truth is just that financial services are built trust, but that trust is fragile. The customer expects money levels or experience and doesn't get it. This trust is thrown under the bus. The practical example would be our day-to-day activities in the customer experience unit, where you have your day-to-day business owners, personal account owners, who are trying to make instant transactions, or they're trying to reach out for basic inquiries. And at that point, everybody wants to be attended to. There's always that spirit of urgency when it comes to our customers in the financial service. So basically, when these customers are unable to get that attention they want, that first resolution they want, that first contact resolution they want, that trust is already declining. And that's why at Money Point, we use this as it's a vital goal for us, customer experience. We take it personal. We've had several, or we always several routes questions to our customers, to understand our customers, to build the trust, so the aspect where we need to improve on. And how do we achieve this? Basically through AI as well. We've been able to include this in our day-to-day data, in the process of capacity plannings, when we see that, in scenarios where we have quite an influx with a particular product, or influx with our interactions from our customers, which could be led to a slight glitch with either network and probably a slight delay in transactions. Yes, so we try as much as possible to ensure that we provide our customers with that capacity they need. And we also understand that we can't just do this alone. So we also had to implement something on our messaging platform. It's a chatbot, and this has been able to help us understand our customers better. We've also been able to measure the volume or number of customers that our self-service ideas or function has also been able to help. So our day-to-day monitoring of all of this has been very impactful. So I would also quickly like to move straight to the challenges that are being faced today with, that's the customer experience gaps. And one would be communication gap. This is generally not just to any specific financial service, but over time, I'm sure that many of us here would have experienced scenarios where we've interacted with some customer service platforms, and we're getting conflicting, you may be getting conflicting updates, either from the calls or the emails channel or the live chat channel. Another challenge or it is so what phone has no record of it. Another would be personalization gap. Yes. So we've also seen scenarios where customers with long history are treated like full customers. So how are we able to tackle all of these challenges or some of these challenges? And the reality here is introducing AI steps. Yes, so I'll use MoneyPoint as an example here. And I'll use the AML transaction monitoring tool we've been able to introduce. And so far, we've been able to really see a great impact on that function, on that feature. And this AI transaction monitoring tool has been able to help us salvage a very high amount of proceeds that are received into some accounts, some customers' accounts, right? And how are we even able to get this, to achieve this? Is through AIs. The implementation of these tools, we're able to what's the word? So what or track transactions that come into their accounts, inflows that come into an account in an ungodly hour or in a strange hour. So at this point, we're also reviewing. We don't just release or introduce features. What we do is we work on it, we analyze it. How are we able to analyze these features? We're able to analyze it through how our customers enjoy these features that we provide. So next thing I would just like to wrap up with would be the AI quality monitoring. Yes, so for this, it ensures consistent high quality support across all of the channels. So even if you're a customer that is reaching out, because we always get scenarios where a particular customer, one customer reach out the same channel, via live chat channel, via your voice channel, via your social media channel. And there's this sync. How will your organization or will your customer service team be able to have this sync? Is all through having this documented data, a CRM tool that works hand in hand to understand and keep data safe. So when a customer is reaching out via the email channel and he already has an historical interaction for that same issue, regardless of the channel, the customer support associates or agents should be able or would be empowered to ensure that the customer is getting the first contact resolution. It actually builds that trust when a customer is reaching out, an irate customer reaching out and expecting to start the complaint, the explanation of his complaint all over again. But realizing that, oh, the customer service agent attending to the request is already making it known to the customer that, oh, I understand that you've reached out to us regarding XYZ and the resolution is currently ongoing. Yeah, so this actually builds trust for our customers. I can go on and on, listing some of these things that we've also implemented and what we're currently trying to achieve. But I would just like to stop here and also make these notes that AI is not a magic bullet, which we all know, but when paired with international designs, empathy, and inclusive data, it can drive massive impact in bridging the CX gap. The collaboration between fintechs, telcos, banks, and regulators is key. However, if we get this right, AI won't just automate financial services, it will definitely democratize them. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Oluwabumi Ogunyemi. She's the customer support lead at MoneyPoint. And she said something very interesting. It's really about trust. And it's really about you, the customer. So the customer has a lot of power in this sense because everything that fintechs like MoneyPoint, Pay, these big boys in the fintech industry, everything that it is that they are doing is for you to enable you trust them. And platforms like this, Payphone 2.0, is enabling conversations like this so that you can learn and so that you can know what the expectations should be from these giants. So thank you so much, Money Point, putting time to say now that any player in the financial services industry that isn't taking advantage of AI is maybe lagging behind, joining the party late, because if a lot of a lot of us already know AI, and a lot of us are aware of what AI can do. And if we're not getting those kinds of services from any financial services provider, it then, begs the question of what it is that they're really doing, because customers now are demanding more. So it's a good thing that everybody here is forward thinking. And speaking of forward thinking, I had a very interesting conversation with our next speaker. He's going to be delivering our keynote. He's representing the MD CEO of Afrigo Pay, and he's the person of Munachi Duru. He's the head of innovation partnership, and he's the assistant vice president at Afrigo Pay. Munachi, like he mentioned, used to be now director of Mastercard here. And he'll be representing the MD or CEO of Afrigo Pay. So with a resounding round of applause to give us our keynote address, Mr. Munachi Duru. Please keep clapping for him until he gets stage. Keep clapping. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. Do I need to use the microphone? Can you hear me loud and clear? Okay. Okay, good morning, everyone. All protocols duly observed. Permit me to move around stage and space. I'm tall enough, so I'll be rollover now for Africa. Yeah. Okay, great. So our topic is pretty interesting. It's on bridging the customer experience gap for financial inclusion using AI. But I think we want to, if you don't mind just skipping to the next screen. Yeah. So I think let's even start with the definition of AI as it were, because I'm sure there's bits of questions or confusion around AI, what it stands for, what it does, and all that stuff, right? So to start with, AI is largely the capability of computational systems. What do you mean by computational systems? The computers we use today, right? To perform tasks that you would ordinarily do, right? And AI is quite disruptive because that just means that something somewhere can be programmed to do what you would usually do, even when it comes to even thoughts, right? So the way AI works is actually based on data. Okay, so large data sets being exposed to a couple of machines who are given some rules to say, if you see this done, that's largely the crux of AI, right? Of course, it gets more technical and more robust, but that's core of AI, right? So what it does is basically replicate what you do. And what does that mean? Can solve problems perceived. You would, as we go along the slide, you would understand things like computer vision, where I can actually use my cameras to mimic what your eye does in terms of receiving message, passing it to a neural processor, and then giving you the information that you require. So imagine what AI is literally you, right? In a way. I don't know if you've seen this Michelangelo's picture of God, creating man. Has anyone seen that picture in time past, right? Imagine that you are, I'm not saying you are God, please don't quote me, right? But we are literally at that crux where we are enabling the next phase of evolution by transferring intelligence to another entity, which is what AI is, right? And of course, AI can make decisions for you. So by setting up these rules, these decisions can be taken on your behalf, making your workflow faster. But remember, AI is disruptive, so we must be very careful in AI, because as much as we try to stray away from those things, the more intelligent AI gets, the less likely humans are involved in doing things. Now, we have a population of about 260 million Nigerians, and a couple of us are out of jobs. If you automate everything, only God can imagine how that goes, right? But I like to reinterpret what AI means, and I like to call it augmented intelligence for me, right? It's something I'm more passionate about. And what augmented intelligence really is around building a human-centered approach. So let's focus AI on us, humans first, right? We were created to, sorry, I have to bring in the Bible here. We were created to dominate the world. That is the purpose that God created us for. So we cannot, cede that responsibility to a computer, right? So everything we do around AI must be for our benefit in the real sense of it. So augmented reality, is a human-centered approach where AI systems are used to enhance human capabilities, decision-making. Rather than replacing them, we are leveraging AI-driven insights and tools to complement human efforts. So it's not about replacing, but complementing. And then to go further about defining what financial inclusion is, right? The idea is to create an environment where anyone, anywhere, whatever background, whatever age, whatever financial status, you have access to financial services. And the idea here is how do we use or augmented intelligence to actually bridge that gap to financial inclusion. Next slide, please. Well, let's take a step back to actually see how we've gotten so far in Nigeria in terms of financial inclusion. And I mean, please let's give ourselves a round of applause. I think Nigeria has done beautifully well. And that's testament to a lot of work that you have done here from the likes of MoneyPoint, PalmPay, SANEF, Amban. You've all contributed to the numbers that we see today. I just want to take a quick snapshot of how we're performing. So Nigeria is at 64%. All this data is at 2023, but we're about 64% financial inclusion. I imagine we're probably closer to 70, 75 now. So this is a bit dated. Egypt, as at 2023, was at 56%, Kenya 84%, and South Africa at 80%. So I think if you rate us, we're probably third, right? But large population, so we're doing pretty good for ourselves. Now, in terms of the regulatory reforms, right? The CBN between 2012 and 2014 introduced the tiered KYC requirements, which was pretty much opening up the financial inclusion space to more people to participate. Prior to this period, if you recall, you'd have to bring an arm and a leg to come and open a bank account. I remember when I was doing NYSC and I was asked to bring a couple of dollars that I started to ask myself, I'm literally just starting my career. How am I supposed to have all these documents, right? So with this kind of policies introduced, it made it easier for people like you, I, and anybody else to actually have access to financial services. There was also the issuance of the agency banking guidelines. And again, as at 2014, we introduced the BVN, which ask me has probably been one of the most positively disruptive things we've introduced. The great thing is we now have the NIN, which also even goes further, right, to actually help us to structure. Because at the end of the day, financial inclusion is about identification. If you don't have identity, then you can't really serve people, right? So at the crux of financial inclusion is identity, right? And I think we've solved that problem beautifully well. Now, again, one of the drivers has also been let's call it the adoption of smartphones or the penetration of the internet, right? So today, and I like what our host had said earlier. Today, we enjoy a lot in Lagos State today because there's access to data or 5G networks and stuff like that. But the more you go into the hinterlands, you begin to realize how difficult it is for someone to even see 3G or that bar on their phone. So we actually enjoy a lot. And I think that because there's starting to be a growth in adoption of smartphones and internet, we've seen more penetration happen. But for us to bridge that gap, yes, we've started numbers about 35 million, but I think it's way more than that. We actually need to get more mobile devices into people's hands and actually now, I also understand also that it's kind of a bit expensive to deploy these technologies into the hinterlands because you have to look at viability, right? Are those areas viable for me as MTN or anybody else deploying my base stations in that area? So we could actually leverage partnerships to actually do these things, right? But we'll get into that. And then, of course, there's the adoption of AI and technology in banking, where we're now starting to see a lot of us use computer vision. So, in terms of onboarding today, you don't need to go to a bank anymore. Pick up your phone, put your BVN, scan your face, it compares the image on your BVN versus face, bam, you've got a tier 1 account. That's revolutionary, as simple as it seems, right? So these are the things that have gotten us to where we are, but there are still gaps. There's still gaps. So as it is today, 1 in 4 Nigerians remains financially excluded, right? Still debatable, but this is the data we have. Rural communities are less likely to be formally included, and that sort of like further deep dives into the comment I made earlier. 37% of rural Nigerians are financially excluded compared to 17% of urban Nigerians. Now, financial inclusion seems to be more, unfortunately, severe in northern Nigeria. And the gender gap is widening. We actually thought this was sort of narrowing before, but it seems like there's been some kind of widening from 8% in 2020 to 2023. I imagine that might even widen a little more considering the financial or the economic situation we find us in. There's also challenges relating to fraud incidents, poor service, high banking, and lack of clarity of financial information. So these are largely the things, these are gaps that we still experience today. But if you don't mind just moving over to the next slide, let's look at in core the barriers to financial inclusion. And truly, the question is, can AI solve these problems? I mean, we can answer that together. So the first here, top of the list, is the high cost of traditional services, right? I mean, one of the reasons why banks have not been able to penetrate the country in terms of driving financial inclusion is actually very expensive to set up a branch. And thanks to the likes of MoneyPoint, PalmPay, and a couple of host other microfinance banks, please give yourselves a round of applause. I think you've done a marvelous job. These guys have been able to penetrate into the nooks and crannies of the country to actually get people included. Thankfully, with the new policies that have been introduced, we can reach where we've never been able to reach before now. In addition to that, there's also a lot of spatial regional development due to infrastructural deficits. I suppose we understand. And then there's also the growing insecurity. So these are all things that I believe make it difficult for traditional financial services providers to scale into those underserved communities. There's also poor and limited access to banking services. Now, when we say poor and limited service, it's not just about the location, but a lot of times we tend to serve people with English, assuming that they understand the Weibo we are speaking or that they can write, right? And that's the fallacy we tend to believe, unfortunately, because we tend to view this thing from a very narrow lens, right? So there are ways we could solve this. I mean, it's not the easiest, but there are ways we could solve this. And then, of course, there's the trust barriers in technology adoption, which Mr. Biroba had initially mentioned, right? So, for instance, there's going to be a downtime. The question is there a way we can use AI to predict the downtime? So we're seeing a rise in transaction volumes, and our systems do not have that capability to handle it. Do we need to expand, right? And AI can track these things and actually tell you, hey, look, dude, this thing is beginning to balloon. Do you want to maybe, increase your capacity on this volume that are coming through to your systems? So again, these are the large, and the question really is, can AI solve it? And the answer really is maybe partly, not entirely, but partly. Next slide. And so I'll touch on 5 of the key areas very quickly, and I think these have been mentioned in passing. The first is really around customer KYC and authentication. We do that brilliantly well today. I've tried to sort of like detail the key AI technologies that are used for this broadly, and I'll explain what they are. So computer vision, like I mentioned, is basically the interaction between a camera on your system, could be your mobile device, or the webcam you're using, or some of those other technologies. So actually read information of a material or your face, interpret and process that image to do certain functions. So it's a branch of AI, and that's what actually enables all of the customer KYC and authentication we do with our face today. There's also machine learning, which is practically just using the data within your ecosystem to learn about trends, attributes, and then make decisions based on those things. There's a deeper version of that called deep learning, where you're now parsing information from multiple sources, including yours, to then make more informed and wider decisions, right? And the last is really around natural language processing, which is what powers most of your chatbots today. So if you notice, I don't know, have you used Meta AI on your WhatsApp recently? So Meta AI, Grok, can actually speak Pidgin to you because it understands you, right? But all of that stuff actually happens because it's pulling data from everywhere. So you are AI. You are providing the brain, you're the brain for AI, essentially. It's your data that is being used by AI to help serve you at the end of the day, right? So that's the interesting thing about it. So fraud monitoring and prevention, AI can be used to monitor transactions for suspicious patterns, reducing fraud and minimizing false positives. Payment optimization. I know we talked about the things around, I mean, I remember Mr. Biroba mentioned something around, customers being debited and then being the first line of defense, as it were, right? So the question is, there's a time value to money. That 5,000 naira that you lost when that transaction was, or that amount was debited from the customer, to you, it doesn't seem like a lot. But that 5,000 naira can make someone carry a knife and stab you, right? It's a lot. It's so tangible that you could actually, draw harm to yourself. So the question is, how can we use AI to predict, validate that this transaction didn't really happen, or this customer didn't get value, and in turn refund that thing instantly, right? There are ways. And then customer support. Our dear colleague from MoneyPoint has mentioned this, but how do we use AI chatbots and virtual assistants to handle customer issues? And to her point around that whole orchestration, the question is, if support is being given from one channel, why do we have to limit it to those channels? So how do we orchestrate and organize our data such that as data is coming from this source, we're able to also use that data across other sources or channels? And lastly, credit scoring. I think this is probably one of the strongest things for us, and I'll explain why in the next slide. But today, and maybe I should go to that next slide, actually. Let's just move on real quick, right? At the crux of everything we do around AI is really around data, right? And I've tried to sort of like break this down into maybe 3 aspects, as it were. There's data structuring, data presentation, and data management. So data structuring really refers to you identifying where you source your data from, right? It could be people's faces, it could be the existing, even transaction slips you did in your branches, right? All of these things can actually be used to feed information, your core banking systems and the likes. So identify the data sources and first ask yourself, in this AI journey I'm trying to take, what do I really want to achieve? Is this, what is it that I want to do? Am I trying to reduce fraud? And is it really important to the organization you work for, right? Because at the end of the day, AI is being touted as the magic one. It's not, right? So there are certain things that AI, you don't even need AI for. A simple workflow can actually do that, can actually solve that problem. So we must be extremely careful. But the point here really is that you want to identify your data sources and the reasons why you want to pursue that whole AI journey you're taking on. You need to extract relevant information. What information do I need for my AI to work efficiently? Am I doing well with time? Absolutely. Okay, I need to move quickly. Organize the data, present the data, and update and maintain data. But in this journey, we have to be extremely careful to make sure we're preserving customer data effectively, right? And I put 2 things here. In anything that has to do with AI, there must be consent for the AI to use your data. And if you're going to build anything that has to do with AI, you must obtain consent for that data to be used. And you must preserve that data securely, because today, as you know, with generative AI, where I can actually make a copy of you, right? If that data is exposed to somebody else, I can make a version of me, which can be used to authenticate or onboard on another banking channel. So that's identity theft, right? And if someone has access, a fraud has access to such data, they can actually do all sorts with it. Now, the reason why I'm going on this slide is that without data, all of these things here cannot happen. So whether you want to do machine learning, deep learning, natural language processing, data is really at the crux of AI. Next slide, please. Okay, and I think this is my second to last slide, thereabouts. So I've tried to identify some key or real world applications for AI today. And the first, which is really, really important to me, is on-demand credits at your agent locations. So someone approaches you and says he wants to withdraw 5,000 naira, but all he has in his account is 4,000 naira. If I'm able to actually, tie a credit score to him or analyze his transactions, I can actually lend him an additional 1,000 naira so that he can actually withdraw that 5,000 naira he wanted to in the first place. It doesn't have to stop there. And maybe this is a challenge to some of our, microfinance banks today who actually provide both issuing and acquiring services, right? So how can you use the data within your context to actually lend to your customers? Number 2 is instant account opening and card issuance. We already do this. The third is fraud detection and proactive issue resolution and customer support. I think I touched on this earlier. And the question is, how can we use AI to process refunds and prevent chargebacks where applicable? And then lastly, next slide, sorry. Lastly, in your AI journey, as you take on it, the first thing is you want to identify the critical processes in your organization or in your ecosystem that are extremely manual. Because I think that's one of the key areas where your AI would then make the best, would solve your problems, as it were. Number 2 is confirm the availability of the data and your data sources, right? The third is to estimate the effort that you require in improving your processes using AI. And the fourth is estimate the cost and return on investments. If what you're doing is not going to be tangible enough for the cost you're about to take on, I assure you, you should just kill it at that moment and find a simpler solution to do it. Because at the end of the day, in as much as we want to improve customer experience, you need to make money, right? Fourthly, or fifth, consider the impact on your other departments in your organization. Remember, AI has to be human first, and obtain buy-in from your critical stakeholders. Just before we go, last slide, I promise, I just want to take, just go 2 slides extra. One more thing, just a quick introduction into Afrigo. Afrigo is Nigeria's domestic card scheme today, right? And a couple of things we've done or achieved over the past 2 years since existence is we're now issued by 26 commercial banks. We offer instant and same-day settlements for our merchants. So if you use an Afrigo card to pay today on any POS terminal, the merchant gets instant settlement, literally either at that instant or the same day. Thirdly, it's accepted at all touch points, be it ATM, POS, and we're growing our web acceptance. We are also working very closely with the NIMC for the general multipurpose cards. You might have heard that in the news. But more importantly today is that we have full support for offline payments, which is brilliant because wherever there's internet or not, you can use your Afrigo cards to pay. And this is particularly important for transit services where you might have unreliable or no internet access. And like I said earlier, we have our NFC cards, which you can use for contactless payments, which negates the use of having a card in your hand. Those cards can be tokenized to your mobile devices and be used to pay. So thank you very much, and I hope you got a good one.
A round of applause for Mr. Munachi Duru. Keep clapping for him. I think I really enjoyed your presentation. I like how your slides are very loaded. AI is not a magic wand, though. We cannot expect that AI is here to solve all our problems because even while AI can do a lot, it is still we, the humans, there's still that human impact that is needed to feed in the data into AI, for AI to use that data to help us serve, our needs. So thank you so much, Mr. Munachi Duru. A round of applause for him again. And to deliberate or to discuss the highlights of his keynote address, we'll be having a panel discussion. But before that, please, let's stand up. If we're not, the ginger, I'm not feeling it. Let's stand up. Everybody stand up. Stand up. I don't know what's going on. It's like some people are sleeping. What is happening? We're going to do our exercise again after these couple of conversations that we've had, presentations, I can imagine that our brains are loaded with information now. We can speak intelligently to AI. So our heads are boiling. So let's cool off. Yeah. So we'll do our exercise again. Who can remember our exercise? So we'll do it. We'll do it again. I know you're excited to do it. So just calm down. Let's do it together. So we'll start with our crown, our pride, our flex, and then you brush your sneaks. So let's do it together. My crown, my pride, my flex, and my sneaks. One last time. My crown. You guys are royalty. My pride. Carry your shoulder. You're here. It's important. My flex and my sneaks. Thank you so much. I think we can sit down now. We've flexed ourselves a bit. While they set up the stage, it's really important to understand, the very intricacies of the use of AI. While our customer service professionals shared how they use AI in MoneyPoint, I think it's important that while you're using AI, you should also sort of try to use AI for specific needs because you don't want a robot to take over. There's some people that are scared that robots are coming to take their jobs. And even while we still need the human impact, the human influence to put in data into AI, you don't want to go obsolete. You want to still remain relevant. So while we're using AI, you still want to keep brushing up on your skills. You still want to keep, staying updated on trends, on innovations. And this is why conversations like this, platforms like this are very important for you to learn, for you to exchange knowledge, just so that you can stay abreast of new things that are happening in the industry. And so while people are having conversations about AI, while people are being totally reliant on AI, you guys will stand out because while you know the use of AI, you're still using AI to your own advantage. And so clap for yourselves. I know that's why you guys are here. You guys are here to stay ahead, which is super. Okay, so just speaking through to moderate our panel discussion. Again, this panel discussion is to review the highlights from our keynote address. And to moderate the discussion, we'll be having the assistant editor of Tech Economy, John. Forgive me, please. Imegowa. Please, when you come up, you can correct me. I'm so sorry. But John will be moderating the session. So I'll be handing over to her. John, please forgive me. I'm very sorry. Over to you. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone, and thanks a lot for having me. And it's Joan Aimaro. So it's not that hard, yeah. So thank you everybody for being here today. Today we're having a very interesting discussion, which I know a lot of people are interested in. So we're talking about AI. We're talking about the link between AI, financial inclusion, and everything that is going on in this space. So I'm just going to bring up my speakers. Starting with the MD CEO of Pampay, Mr. Chika Unwosu. You're welcome, sir. Please, a round of applause as he comes up on stage. Okay, and then we'll be having the customer support lead for Money Point, Oluwabumi Ogunyemi. She here? Okay, hi, please. You're welcome to join us. Okay, and Olusoji Solomon, I think he's online. Okay, could you just wait? A round of applause, please, for Olusoji. And Uche Uzoebo, sorry. Mrs. Uche, MD CEO for Stanef. Is she here? Oh, you're welcome, man. Okay, and then we have Olusegun Gabriel, co-founder and chief innovations architect, Face Technologies UK Limited. Okay, he's online. Please, a round of applause for him. We can't see your face. Okay, and lastly, we have the chairman for AMBAM, Ibirogba Oluwagunwa. I'm so sorry if I'm not pronouncing that. Welcome. You're welcome. Sir. Okay, is that mic for everyone? Okay, you're welcome, my beautiful speakers, and thank you for joining us on this wonderful discussion. AI is something that is really taking over. It's kind of replicating human intelligence, so to say. And so many people believe that it's going to replace a lot of things. And even in the finance, I wonder how can we really penetrate this sector, for the fact that some people are still excluded. It's not everybody that has access to internet. It's not everybody that has access to, even if they say, yes, we go to this rural areas to make everyone come together, but people still don't have these things. Yeah. So I just want to start by asking, I don't want to start your name again.
Mr. Ibirogba, yeah, for AMBAM. So what would you say are the key barriers still hindering financial inclusion in Nigeria? And how can digital payment providers address them more effectively, including the regulator?
Thank you very much for that. Can you go over that question again?
Okay. What are the key barriers still hindering financial inclusion in Nigeria? And how can digital payment providers address them more effectively, including the regulator?
Okay, critical barriers. I think one of the critical barriers we look at is the human barrier, because we are talking of artificial intelligence, and you think artificial intelligence is just going to come from somewhere. It's going to come from us, and that is, we are still the one that will feed the information that is needed by the artificial intelligence to go forward. So the major barrier is humans, our capability to learn and relearn. And when the only way we can go forward is when we understand where we are coming from. And that is one of the key factors that will. And as regards the fintechs, well, there is a lot of things that has to be done together. But just like Mrs. Zobu said, within the ecosystem, there is going to need to be for there to be collaboration within SANEP, the fintechs, the other stakeholders like POS operators like us, and even the environment, even government policy. So all these are factors that can actually push the fintechs to move forward.
Thank you so much. Okay. All right, thank you so much. So when we talk about collaboration, following up what you said, some things hinder collaboration. For instance, let's say outside Nigeria, some companies might not want to partner with Nigerian fintechs because of the issues that we are having here, right? So how do you think we can overcome these things to ensure companies like Microsoft or the big companies in the game don't keep pulling out? So would you say it's tied to the government or still everyone?
It's tied to everyone. Basically, you talk about cyber fraud, you talk about like collaboration boils down to information sharing. There has to be a free flow of information from one source to the other. And as long as those informations are easily accessible, that is where collaboration works effectively. Without information sharing, it can't work effectively. So with those ones, and when you're looking at those that are coming from outside, looking at inside, you're looking at how well they trust your system, how safe are our systems to be able to handle and mitigate some excesses. Right now, we are having a lot of challenges when it comes to payment systems, what's it called, delivery. And most times you have delays. You have, what's it called, transaction failures. So how soon does it be rectified? So all these things are things that actually makes people, these informations are like my tall friend said, AI, to speed things up, to make sure that, okay, fine, these things is, these decline transactions, it gets reversal almost immediately. If people have that kind of trust, then cashless will be very effective because everybody will believe that, okay, within the twinkle of a second, I can get my transaction. If it's not done, it gets reversed. So that's what builds trust within the system.
All right, thank you so much. And now I'm going to go to Money Point. Hello, ma'am. I just want to ask right now. So Money Point is working with agent banking and mobile money platforms, right, to impact financial access in underserved areas. So how are you going about this?
Okay, so the first thing is that we're trying to understand our type of customers, and understanding these customers is very vital because we've been able to discover that we have a blend. We have the uneducated, we have the educated, we have the semi-educated. And this has been able to help us understand each of their interests and what they actually want from our service. So one of the things that we actively do is to physically and also digitally reach out to these customers, right? We send out surveys for those that are educated as well. And for those that are not so educated, especially for those within the northern region, we have business relationship managers that are like our field officers. They're able to reach out to this type of customers, this category of customers. They're able to give us the information we need to improve the service and then also offer that standard and trust that we're actually working at.
Okay, are you able to work with customers that are excluded when it comes to the internet?
Yeah, sure. We are.
Okay, like how do you go about it? If my mom doesn't have a smartphone that could download your app and make transactions, and she doesn't know how to use the app, right? How do they work with MoneyPoint?
Yes, so we currently have a team in charge of these projects. We have something called kiosks, and it's very important to us that we try as much as possible to spread visibility to those to each, I call it generation, or to each level, either old, young. So for an elderly person that doesn't know how to use a smartphone, doesn't know how to use a laptop, they can actually get aware through the field officers we have. Yes, through the field officers we have. We also do a lot of campaigns, and it's not just waiting there. We're not just waiting there for the campaigns to just work on its own. We are also putting people in place in these rural areas, in these locations, and we build solely, or we work solely on the feedback we get from this. Yes, and we also check in. Yes, we do our weekly and quarterly check-ins with these customers or with these individuals to be sure that we're reaching out to them and there's continuity.
Okay, that's quite interesting, especially about the kiosk. Yeah, so I'm going to go to the CEO of Pampe, Mr. Chika. Yeah, I know Pampe has been doing a lot of inclusion programs currently. So can you give us some successful case studies from Pampe or models that have improved inclusion using digital tools across Nigeria?
Okay, thank you very much. After 2023, in 2023, there was a serious rise in new customers on our platform. Then when there was a reverse in cashless policy declined. Then in 2024, what we did is, because when you look at Nigeria, the number of people using smartphone is less than 40% of the population. What it means is that over 60% use feature phones. And most of these people are in rural areas. So, and actually for financial inclusion, the major target is to reach out to the people in the rural area. So one of the things we did is that we launched USSD code for X61 hash. So I think it's also very popular. And this USSD code has all our products embedded in it. So even someone who is in the most rural area in Nigeria can access Pampe product, can also use the feature phone to open a Pampe account and have access to our product. And several other things we did, like optimizing our transaction success rate to over 99.95%. And as a result of this, there is trust from the people, so a lot of people will also come into it. And there's so many other things which I cannot be able to say because of time. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much. That's quite impressive, mentioning all that you've done. So quickly, I'm just going to go to Mrs. Uche. You right? I hope I got. Yeah, I'm sorry if I didn't pronounce your name earlier. So I just want to quickly ask, customer education, do you think it's keeping pace with the speed of digital payment adoption right now? And if not, what can be done?
Thank you. So customer education is a continuous concern. You can't take away education. We say that we learn every day. Even as we're here, we've learned a couple of things, even from, from the we're doing enough, but still there's still room to do more. It's a continuous concern, especially breaking down the education to various channels and languages. So when I say channels and languages, it could be a comic. That's also a way of learning, meeting the needs of the customers, because we have different types of customers. You have those who can't even read, and even though I'm Igbo, and you meet someone who speaks Igbo, they may not necessarily know how to write that language, because that's one thing we miss. The fact that the person doesn't speak English, and the person, they may not even understand the language. They may not know how to write it. But if we use things like comics, videos, dramas, to educate them, to sell what we're talking about, to communicate that, that's the easy way to even understand that. Aside the people in the hinterland, for you and I today, when you buy any form of, let's say, the latest, you haven't been using maybe an Apple iPhone, you switch from Samsung to Apple, you're not going to start reading the manual. The easiest thing you do, you just go to YouTube, like, oh, how do I, and it demonstrates that. It's pointing to you. Log in here, create your Apple ID. That is what we're talking about. So we need to, also improve on the channels and the way we communicate the education, to make it acceptable, to make it easy for the customers, because that's, for it to be very easy, simple, and adapt to whatever language or the type of communication channel that they would want to see. So it's an ongoing concern, and we have to continue doing that. Awareness, creating awareness is very, very, very important. One of the problems is that we all have so many beautiful ideas, but taking it out there is also a problem. And even before we take it out there, another form of customer education is using the human-centric design. So let me explain. We're coming out to maybe going to the market for a product. We also need to sample the people that are going to use the product. The products are not for you and I, it's for them. So we also have to do that, have that human-centric design, talk to them, explain that to them. This is what we're trying to do. So if you see, how are you going to adopt it? If that is done, by the time we're rolling out with the product or the services, it will easily be adopted, because you carry them along in developing that. So that's one key area that is also very important, because it's also part of education. Thank you.
Yeah, just a follow-up question. So definitely, but when it comes to humans, they are mostly scared when it comes to trust, right? So even if we go and we give them this education that is required, some might still want to hold back in one way or the other. So how do you think we could enhance trust when it comes to this field?
Okay, so that trust was the last I spoke about, like the human-centric design. Imagine the woman selling fish in let me use this market, and I'm trying to come up with a product. By the time I start engaging her, oh, this is what I'm looking for, something that will benefit you, so that you'll be able to have access to more funds, so you can sell more fish, and you're carrying her along in the process, even down to the product name. A lot of products today, you will have, we have names for the product. So I'll take it back to my former life, when we had a product for them, for women, in the market. And how did the name come about? Because it came from them, because they were just looking for something that would generate with them. And they said, oh, it done better for us, because the product name was better. So it done better for us. So by the time they're involved in crafting and the process of this product or services, you gain the trust in them. Most times what we see is that something just comes and we impose, I'll use the word impose, we impose it on them. Of course, they get scared. Even as simple as NIN. The awareness of NIN, that literacy, that education, we need to explain to them why you need NIN. Most times, what we just see, you just go enter the village. Okay, all of you, just come, you need it. But have we explained why you need it? The why is very important. Because by the time we explain to them, this is what it will do for you and all, they will understand. And they will gain that trust, so that the next time will now be you're enrolling them. So most times we just, that education and that pre-education also we lose that, and trying to force them to gain the trust is a problem. I'm using the word force because trust should be something that you gain naturally over time. Like, you know, so if someone says, "Oh, Mrs. Uche has come here, this is what she did," you can't just come in. I can't just come inside a place and they will gain my trust. No, I'm not I'm not Jesus Christ. So I have to walk them through it. I have to demonstrate certain things. I have to carry them along for them to gain my trust in what I'm doing. Okay?
That is so human relatable. Thank you so much. So quickly going to our online speakers. I hope you can hear me clearly, please.
Yes, very well. Can you hear us?
Okay, we can hear.
Yes, we can. Good afternoon.
Okay. Oh, hi. Good afternoon, and thanks for joining us.
You're
Okay, so
welcome.
I'm going to quickly ask Mr. Olusoji. I hope you can hear me.
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, thank you so much. Quickly, how do you see innovations like AI, blockchain, or CBDs shaping the future of payment in Nigeria?
Okay. I think I did lose some of your questions, but I guess you are asking how can we use AI, blockchain and what?
CBDs to impact
Okay.
payments in Nigeria.
Okay. So I think a lot has been said about how we can use AI to enhance some of what we call financial inclusion. And I think as almost everybody has said, AI is not, I do like it to see it's not what we call autopilot, but what we call a co-pilot. That is something that can help you to do whatever you do and do it better. So when it comes to financial inclusion, majorly it helps with the rural areas mostly because we have cases whereby we don't have good internet connectivity in such areas now, but we do have some information that sits with the telecommunication companies whereby AI can look at the pattern at which maybe you do your recharge, probably you recharge 5,000 in a month or you do 10,000 in a month, and then use that to build an image of you to say, okay, you are credit worthy if you are applying for a loan, despite the fact that we don't have all the information. So these are some of the things AI can help us to do to be able to say, okay, people in the rural areas, let them be included on what is happening when it comes to the digital world. For the likes of blockchain, I think majorly what blockchain will help us to do is to say, you want to do a transaction and you want to do it securely. So irrespective of if you have an internet footprint out there or not, blockchain will create like a digital identity for you, which no other person can use. And then that will be used to be able to do whatever transaction you want to do. So some of these technologies, again, help us to be able to reach the unbanked in the rural areas. Briefly on the central bank digital currency, one big thing that is going to do for Nigeria as a country is the stability of our currency. If we have a naira that is very stable, then it helps us to be able to do transactions with the international community without any fear of if a dollar to a naira today is 1.5, tomorrow is going to be 1.2, the next day is going to be 2,000. So you have that stability, and then you are sure of what the currency is sitting at, and then you can easily and freely be able to do whatever business you want to do. Am I good with time, or I still have some more time?
Okay, you could just quickly round up, yeah.
Okay.
You have just 5 minutes to round up.
Yeah, but were you guys able to hear me clearly?
Yeah, definitely.
Okay. So I think what Perfon is bringing to the table is something that I think is worthwhile. There is serious need for education. There is serious need to say, okay, this is how AI can help us, some of the enabling technologies out there, because one thing we will be missing out with the international community is if we don't embrace and appreciate some of these new innovations, then definitely Nigeria as a country might be left behind, and then we'll be struggling to catch up. Yeah. I hope
All
I've
right,
been able
thank you
to do
so
justice to
much.
your question.
Yeah. Okay, thank you so much. You did justice to that question. Quickly going to Mr. Olusekun. Okay, so
Yeah.
speaking for startups who need APIs integration, how can startups and financial service providers better collaborate to foster seamless inclusion, innovation in this area?
Yeah, thank you very much for that question. First of all, I will like to thank Pafon for putting this together. You might not know the enormosity of what you're doing right now. It might be in the next decade. Like you will really see that what you're doing right now is very, very important for the growth of the ecosystem in Nigeria. So many thanks to you once again. And for the sponsors of this event, I think that should be Money Point and PalmPay. Thank you also for recognizing that you need to put together forums such as this. Yeah. So to your question, or maybe let me say before I answer your question about how startups and financial service providers can collaborate together. There is something that I noticed that has been absent in this forum. Though many of the speakers have spoken elaborately on how important AI is for the last mile users. Those are the people in the rural areas and everything, how to really get to them. So I love the fact that the MD of PalmPay mentioned how he has really invested in their customer service system, the chatbot. The representative of Money Point also talked about the experience gap. So one thing that has been widely addressed in Nigeria and is access. So yeah, even though there are still a lot of Nigerians in their millions that are still yet to be reached, but we still need to give kudos, to all the platforms that have done a lot in creating platform for this access. But one thing that we should also recognize is that it goes beyond access, right? It goes beyond access. Experience, customer experience is also very important. And I would like us, if there is something we should take away from this forum, I would like us to replace that word experience with befriending. If you start looking at customer experience as a customer befriending your customer, it will change your perspectives on how you need to reach your customer better. Look at all the agents in the northern part of Nigeria, for example. Yeah, chatbots very important, but we've not really explored the advantages of using voice bots as well. Befriending these customers. Imagine if they can really speak to you without speaking to you. You want to call the customer service centers, they are so busy. You've got thousands of customer service agents. They can't really attend to all your customers as promptly as they should. But then you can incorporate AI in this regard. It is very common in the UK at present. And I'm actually shocked that I've not seen any platform in Nigeria that has been doing this. You put a call through to, let's say, PalmPay, Money Point, for instance. You have your virtual assistant AI, speak to you in your local language. That's where the game changing is now. In Hausa, not in English, not even in Pidgin English, in Igbo, and not just in your language, in your dialect. Imagine someone from Ekiti State that you can, not just speaking Yoruba to this person now, you can speak that Ekiti dialect. AI can do all of these things. the Egba man. So if this, probably I'm speaking directly to the MD of Pampe now and the representatives of MoneyPoint. Please let us take this as something that we should put back to our IT team, our development teams, or the people working on our AI systems. Voice bots are very important. It will take you to the next level in befriending your customers. It will surprise you. Now, going to your question, I just thought to touch on that because I noticed that we have not spoken on it. Now, going to your question about startups collaborating with financial service providers. First of all, it's still about befriending. I will advise, my recommendation is more about these service providers to befriend their startups. I mean, do not see them as vendors. See them as co-creators. I mean, by the time you start seeing, we know that you are the giants in the room, MoneyPoint, Pampe, you are the giants in the room, but the startups trying to make use of your make use of your services, like integrating them to their own platforms. See them as co-creators. For instance, you need to invest more in your business analyst teams, your solution architecture teams. Do not just come up with a product, I mean, like new features on your platforms without speaking to your startups. Invite them to your co-design sessions, your product co-design sessions. This way you're going to get amazing feedbacks. You really understand the needs of these startups. They will give you what they really need. So more like you designing these features together. With them. See like as a marriage. I mean, like, by the time you say like, okay, you're married with these startups, you can't do without them. The direction will change. Share KPIs based on customer impact, not just transactions. We know that, okay, yeah, it's a business, right? But it shouldn't just be about figures. What's the impact on the customers? So, if the relationship between the startups and the financial service providers is this robust on co-creation level, they will really be glad, and it will shock you the amazing competitive advantage you can have, handling them that way. Another thing that I believe that will also foster a good relationship with startups is the procurement. Sorry, can you still hear me? Hello.
Yeah, we can hear you.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
you have
yeah.
just
Okay,
like
nice.
5
Okay, yeah,
seconds
cool.
more.
Yeah, cool. So for procurement and onboarding of these startups, it should be because I remember back then, you want to integrate with APIs of financial stuff. It might take months, so this should be streamlined. The vendor onboarding for startups should be streamlined. Like I said, I don't like using the word vendor. It makes it too, so your co-creators, which are your startups, streamline the onboarding processes for them, offer fast-track procurement channels for your pilot programs, and also make sure you design early-stage partnership frameworks with less upfront risk. So all of these things will definitely help you in collaborating better with your startups. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you so much. That was deep and well thought. So we're out of time, so we can't even do a conclusive question. So thank you so much for joining us today. I'm sure everybody has learned a million things. So please, a round of applause to our beautiful speakers.
Thank you so much, John. Thank you to our speakers. Thank you so much. Oh, please, we'd like to take a quick picture. So sorry, ma. A quick picture, please, of our speakers, of our panelists. I think there's one person. Are we able to highlight the people online? Yeah. Okay. It's okay like that. Okay. Thank you so much for indulging us. Awesome stuff. Thank you. Thank you to all our speakers. Thank you. A round of applause to them again, or for them rather. We apologize that we are taking longer than we envisaged, but please bear with us because our next conversation is really important to have. And it's a fireside chat that would be championed by Chidima Marietta of Web3 PM, ETH Nigeria. And she'll be speaking with Chukwuemeka Mbaebie. He's a convener Lagos Blockchain Week. Just very quickly, we're calling Chukwuemeka Mbaebie on stage for our fireside chat that will be championed by our moderator, Chidima Marietta. A round of applause for them as they take the stage, please. Oh, okay. And there is someone joining virtually. Someone will be joining the fireside chat virtually. So I'll be handing over to Chidima while we engage in this very topical conversation. You just introduce yourself.
Awesome. Okay, good afternoon, everyone. Please, before we continue, I would love to invite someone on the stage. Mr. Victor, if you are here, please join us on the stage. All right. So we are getting started. My Web3 Idoros in the house. GM guys. Can I hear you say GM back? GM guys. Awesome. So if I say GM, you GM back to me. In Web3, it means get money. But in Web2, it means make money or good money, whatever. So GM everyone. This thing is not as active as I want it to be. Okay, I can see amazing faces here. And one thing is certain that we all here are innovators, which means we provide solution to the society, right? And the end product of value is always money. Okay, so in as much we are trying to give value to the society, we make money at the end of the day. So I want us to have like a mini exercise, like a general exercise for the tech builders in the community. Okay, so let's try this thing out. If I say we are in, you respond for the tech. Then if I say, if we see money, you respond, we collect. Can we try this? If I say we are in, you respond for the tech. If we see money, we collect. Okay, let's try it one more time. We are in, oh. We are in, oh. If we see money, if we see more. Awesome. Thank you so much for that collaboration. So I don't have much time, so I have 20 minutes. I'm going to make base of it. My name is Chidima Kevin. I'm known as Marietta, the only Web3 PM in Africa. I'm a program manager and also a project manager. I organize real-life events for projects and community visibility. Okay, so um, I have with me amazing experts in the ecosystem. They are going to be sharing their insights about blockchain technology and also the state in the current state of blockchain technology in Nigeria. So welcome once more to this fireside chat section on the role of blockchain technology in financial inclusion. I am your honest moderator, and I'm happy to be joining this discussion. So before we continue, I would love to have a brief introduction of my panelists. So do you mind introducing yourself?
Okay, my name is TECHECONOMY baby. I lead the Lagos Blockchain Week and also the Ethereum Nigeria. So here basically to like create more advocacy on the blockchain, get more people into the ecosystem is an emerging technology that we all need to embrace. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Dr. Victor. I'm a software engineer and I'm running CrowdPay, a new decentralized way of having a crowd fund. Yeah.
Okay, GM everyone. My name is Ayomide Francis. I'm a software engineer. I'm also a blockchain developer, and I'm also working on Sheltra. It's a prop tech, in bringing the decentralized real estate. So I'm also happy to be here. Yeah.
Awesome. So like I said, we have amazing speakers from advocate to blockchain community founders and also a product owner. So we have someone that will be joining us virtual. So if you can hear me, do you mind muting to introduce yourself?
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, good afternoon, everyone. I'm Chibotu Amadi. I'm a software engineer and also a founder building Paycrest, this decentralized payments protocol. Yeah, so I'm so excited to be joining you all today.
Awesome. Nice having you, Mr. Chibotu. Okay, so let's get to the agenda of today. Starting with our first question, let's dive into the challenges Nigerians face when accessing financial services and discuss how blockchain technology can help address these issues. Mr. Ayo, can you share your insights on the common challenges and potential solutions in the Nigerian finance ecosystem?
All right. Thank you, Ms. Narita. So basically, before we look at the financial inclusion of blockchain in Nigeria, let's know what blockchain is. So blockchain is like a digital ledger, right, where anyone can write into, but no one can make changes to it. No one can tamper with it. So right now, our blockchain is a decentralized ecosystem.
Normally, you are saying that in the ecosystem, you don't need your bank document processes to get your money transferred to the other maybe border, right?
Exactly.
You just need your smartphone and everything is easy for you. Thank you so much, Mr. Ayo. Moving forward, we want to explore the potential of blockchain technology in financial inclusion, especially to consider the role of literacy and awareness, like the role of blockchain technology in financial literacy and awareness. And we want to know, Mr. Enoch has been doing amazing things on chain, and we'd love to hear from you the things you think financial awareness can be done among undeserved communities in Nigeria. Do you get my question, sir?
Yeah, I got it. Yeah, blockchain is really a technology that's come to stay, and I'm happy Nigerian is now, taking a very giant step now. Though we missed it a little bit, but we're coming, with the help of the SEC and with the help of the government putting on frameworks. A lot is really happening. So, in terms of increasing our financial literacy among the undeserved communities, blockchain can, immensely contribute towards this. The beauty about blockchain is the transparency around it and the educational opportunities around it. Everything you do on blockchain is actually seen, is public, nothing is hidden, any transaction made is actually seen. So this can be used as an education avenue to educate those who are illiterate, like give them a picture of how your transaction is, making them to believe their money is safe and stuff like that. So in terms of barrier entries, blockchain adoption has really, come up with solutions that, with just little fee, you can make transactions. You can imagine sending $1 million to somebody in the US or in Kano, and you're paying maybe less than $1 or something. That's, but if you're going to pass through the normal traditional banking, you know how much charges everywhere will be billing to you. So, and we as a community, we just launched our Hacker House, and that's where we kind of like bring talents together, educate them about blockchain, and we house them, feed them, for a period of time. They're being sponsored by any protocols actually. And some of my friends here are currently in the house, in the facilities learning for the next 21 days. They should be wrapping up on the 19th. So these guys are grounded, and these guys will be building next applications, that is suitable to our environment. So we are kind of helping out in growing, in creating that awareness, reducing barriers, entries, and so many as much.
Awesome. One thing I think I picked there is for the Web3 community that you guys have. And from what you said, it's free of charge. Like,
it's just free.
Well, interesting. Is there anybody here, a member of Web3 Hacker House? Let's see. Amazing.
I have a lot of them here.
That's who else. Okay, awesome. Thank you so much, Mr. Enoch, for that wonderful contribution. Let's know if my audience are still following. We are in, hey. Okay, if I say we are in, you guys will respond for the tech. If we see money, we collect. I will not be so. We are in, we are in,
for the tech.
If we see money,
we collect.
If we see more,
collect.
Awesome, thank you so much. So I'm trying to, be fast and make use of my 20 minutes. I can see your signs. Okay, so moving over to Mr. Chibu Otu. Okay, Chibu Otu, so sorry.
No, you got it correctly the first time.
In the community, right? So
yeah.
And also the co-founder of No Blocks. Now I want to get from you, for you to share any example. Do you understand? Any example of successful blockchain-based financial inclusion projects, either in Nigeria or anywhere around the world, and also the impact they are making in the ecosystem.
Yes,
Did you get that
can
question, sir?
yeah, I got it. Can you still hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, okay, good. But no, the name is Chibotu. You got it properly the first time. You can also call me Chibi. Yes, I'll dive right into that. I think not to think so far, we really live in a very low trust environment in Nigeria and Africa, and that's why blockchain is incredibly important because it's a way where you don't need to just trust blindly, and you can overcome the low trust barrier by creating solutions that are verifiable and can allow people that would naturally not trust each other interact in a safe way. So on the case of financial inclusion, recently I think I've been really interested in the local stablecoin project CNGN. I think I like what they're doing. The fact that they're trying to see how we can do like a digital naira, right? And I really like the fact that the regulators are working hand in hand to ensure we have something like that, right? And that's why on No Blocks we were among the earliest on No Blocks XYZ to allow people spend their local stablecoin exchange as cash. So and that's a really good financial inclusion project there. That interaction between No Blocks and CNGN, the fact that you can hold digital naira, you can spend it without in any way devaluing your local currency. And I think that's really important. So that's a good way to get regular people that don't know anything about blockchain to start learning about the blockchain and cryptocurrencies. But now you're not doing this from a very technical standpoint, but you're doing that from interacting with what you're already familiar with, which is the naira, right? And it's just a digital version, and then you should be able to buy airtime with it. You should be able to pay for goods and services with it. And we are hoping that in the next coming months and years, it's going to be more, will I say, popular across regular people, everyday people, to be able to send money back and forth from the blockchain and the regular fiat rates in a compliant manner. So I think that's one project I'll have to highlight, No Blocks, and that interaction between the local stablecoins CNG. That helps.
All right, thank you so much. Thank you. Okay, so from what you said, you guys have your normal roadblocks, but I want to understand the impact you are making. Is it only Nigerian based, like Naira based, or do you have other cross-border payment like Ghana's or stuff?
Oh, yes. Okay, I can speak to that because I was speaking from the point of inclusion. But on the other end, we also on Noblocks or XYZ, NOBLOCKS.XYZ, for those that already have, because there's a lot of Nigerian tech people that work remotely and they earn money in stable coins like USDT, USDC. And there is this issue of, okay, of course, right now we know there is the downside of going through some open-ended P2P marketplaces. And so what we did was to allow those persons like receive local stable coins and then spend it in your local currency. And right now that covers for Nigeria, it covers for Kenya, it covers for Ghana. We're unlocking new rails like Ghana, Uganda, Tanzania, and a lot more other African countries. And I think this month or next, we'll also be unlocking for Argentina and Brazil. And we're also working for India. So and we're able to do this using local providers in those countries. And that's why we built No Blocks in a decentralized way to allow people to provide the liquidity in the decentralized manner, to open those payment rails that will allow people to spend their stable coins, both local stable coins and USD-based stable coins.
Awesome. Thank you so much for that wonderful contribution and for what you guys are doing for this society. Thank you so much. I believe I have a young developer, a young builder, and a product owner in our midst. And I know that there are so many, as far as you are in Nigeria, life automatically is paying you like 1-0. You understand? So I don't know how you are doing it, because I know that maybe Chibotu is not here in Nigeria. That's why he can, do this and be talking freely that, okay, this is what we are doing, and this is the roadblocks that we encountered, and we have ways to address it. So now, as you are currently in Nigeria, I want to know, what are the challenges, like you building a particular project? What are you even building? And what are these challenges that you feel like, okay, projects in Nigeria in terms of fintech on the blockchain technology that are facing, and the things needed to get it done? I don't know if you get the question.
All right. Okay. So, like you said, as a Nigerian, I mean, I'm a young person, and it's not just 1-0. Nigeria is beating you 5-0, and you have to have prime Ronaldo and prime Messi to be able to win. In this case, except you want to jackpot, and not everyone, and that one is also another 10-0 now that our visa have been rejected, right? So one of the problem we face, one of the obstacle we face, is regulations, and we thank God that recently the Nigerian government have been understanding that this is not just for fraudulent purposes, that is for us, that the blockchain is for the users, is for people, right? What we are building is CrowdPay, and what CrowdPay does is that it helps you to crowdfund when you want to have a crowdfunding, decentralized crowdfunding platform. Now, it could not just be like it's not just a GoFundMe that we are used to. Let's say, for example, you're having a party, or maybe Owambe party, you're having a wedding anniversary, a wedding, a burial party, and you are staying in US or you are staying somewhere, and you need to make payments. Different sides of the family needs to make payments. The decentralized platform gives you open access to see where the money is going to, compared to like a centralized payment that, you make funding here and you don't even know where your money is going to. You say they tell you they bought 1 million cow and you're seeing a small fowl, right? So with CrowdPay, you're able to see where your money is going to, or maybe you are crowdfunding for someone that needs an hospital bill. Someone needs to make their hospital payments, and you are crowdfunding for that. With CrowdPay, you make your payments, you see where your money is going to, you see who withdrew it, because what blockchain is a digital ledger. You see what is happening, and also it gives you cross-border payment. So, and you don't just need to pay naira, like you don't need to convert and do all the stress. So with CrowdPay, you are in UK, you are in France, you are in Germany, you're able to make your payments, and you're able to get sorted every now within few minutes, right? So you see, the technology is not just like a lot of technology. You feel like it's very complex. It's very easy to use. Like we have a lot of blockchain-based app. Like for example, users are on your WhatsApp. You can make payments. You can make your electricity bill, and you can pay your electricity bill. And one of my friends was in UAE, and he paid his electricity bill here in Ikeja just on his WhatsApp phone. And so all these technology are for you, cheap, fast, and so the regulation. So a lot of time can be obstacle. The user some the normal financial literacy. A lot of people like, oh, it is this, it is that, it is forex. It's not forex. Like the blockchain is helping you basically to make your payment faster, cheaper, and also afford cross-border payments. I think did I answer that?
Yeah, I think you did justice to that. Please, can we put our hands together for our panelists? Okay, when you are talking, I feel like I should just, maybe we can do one example here for people to crowdfund us. Maybe even if it's 500 naira, at least at the end of the day, it's something. Don't worry, you guys will not be
Wow.
okay, so we are going to our last question, and I want to add something to what he said. I know that most of us here are not blockchainers or Web3 guys or dudes. Okay, I said most. I said most. Okay, so all right, sir. Thank you. So most of us here might not be in the ecosystem, right? But the good thing there is that blockchain technology can be integrated in every sector, be it agriculture, be it in educational sector, every sector you can use blockchain technology. Why? Because it's transparent. Even if it's just that, at least you can monitor anything that is happening in your firm or whatever on chain. All right. So now we are going to okay, as we are near to the end of our discussion, we want to look at the steps that are needed to, like, from the government sector, the private sector, and also me and you in terms of adopting blockchain technology in Nigeria? I don't know, sir. Is there any role that we need to play for the process to be, easy?
Yeah, thank you very much. We have a lot of roles for us to play. We're looking at the government part, the private sector part, and the civil society part. Okay, speaking from the private part now, in terms of awareness, digital literacies. In June last year, we spun up the Lagos Blockchain Week, and it was tremendous success. And we had a whole lot of participants, even from the federal government. So it was a period where Binance, Saga, a whole lot was happening. People were highly up, but we were bold to come to the public and to educate our people and to get more people participate in these opportunities. And since then, we've seen tremendous impact. People have been able to reduce the poverty growth. So from we ourselves as a private sector, so we'll be spinning up the next Lagos Blockchain Week, hopefully in June. I will be announcing it. You follow us on our X. So that's one way. The next other way is creating hubs, education, and which we have taken steps. We've had a facility. So all we do we target bright Nigerians for free. You stay with us, it's the timing could be regulated maybe 2 weeks, 3 weeks, or a month or 2 months. And we also want to appreciate government as well. The government now are quite stepping in, and they've introduced the blockchain they've make a proposal of the regulated blockchain proposals, which is yet to be approved, but the SEC are already doing a lot of things. They're coming up with frameworks that will help the growth of this sector, and they're coming up with implementation guides and stuff like that. So if you're there, if you have not joined the space, please join us. Together we could make this a success. The space is worth above $300 billion. So what are we doing? Because when I came to the space, that was way back in 2019 through the Ethereum scholarship. I've seen the difference, like career-wise, academic, professional, and stuff like that. So if you're having a product, please talk to us. How can your product come to the come on chain? Here are some great. We have a lot of developers here. They are developers. They are here to help your product on chain. You can meet them, have an agreement with them, and then you have a win-win. Both parties have a win-win. Thank you.
Thank you so much. We are in. We are in.
For the tech.
If we see money,
we collect. Do
we love this section? Did we do justice to the topic? Okay, so if you love what we did today, can I see your hands together for my panelists? Awesome. So I want to give like a key takeaway, like a summary for, I can see someone doing a list. All right. So just to help you to know the important key point that we discussed about today. All right. The first one is about that blockchain technology has the potential to increase financial inclusion in Nigeria by addressing common challenges such as accessibility, transparency, and affordability. It's very, very affordable. Then the second thing we talked about was the successful blockchain-based financial inclusion projects, which requires careful planning, collaboration, and a deep understanding of the local context, like the local market. What are you building? Just like my boss here, Victor. And the third thing we discussed is about financial literacy and awareness, which are the key components for financial inclusion and also blockchain technology adoption in Nigeria and mostly in rural areas. Finally, a collaborative effort between the government, the private sector, and me and you is needed to ensure that we leverage the blockchain technology for financial inclusion in Nigeria. We are coming to the end of this section. I still remain your humble host. Is you host moderator, Marietta, the Web3 PM, one and only Africa. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Chidima. A quick picture, please, very quickly. very quickly. We'll just spend 10 more minutes and we'll be out of your hair.
Can
Thank you
can
so
I
much
show
to everyone that has stayed
show me on
good
this
so
phone?
far. Really appreciate your patience. We have a critical stakeholder in our midst, and he has graced us with his presence, and would like to recognize him and give him some time to come and address us. In the person of Mr. Fasasi Atonda. He is here to share a goodwill message with us very quickly. Mr. Fasasi Atonda. A round of applause for him, please.
Yeah, good afternoon, all. I must commend the organizer of this program. For some of us that believe so much in conversations like this, even if we are in the rural of the ruralness, we evaporate from anywhere we are and condense where that thing is happening, because it's actually helping us a lot. It's a platform for us to provide raw feedbacks from the customers and to the providers and to the regulator. And I must confess to you that the topic of this conversation, when you look at it, you are talking about AI. AI is what? At the far right. Am I right? And you have the consumers, the customers at the other side. So in a country like Nigeria, there is a disconnect. Is that correct? Because you have over 65% as your informal sector, who may see and what you are talking about of AI as a ghost. They may be thinking it's a spirit that you are talking about, you know? So there is a need to bridge that gap. Who speak the language of the common man on the streets? Who can help you to interpret the advantages of AI? If you ask anybody on the street or in the rural communities today, what they hear about AI is something is coming to come and steal our jobs. Something is coming, is going to make everybody jobless in the next 5 or 10 years. They are not aware that 4 or 5 years ago, before you can withdraw 2,000, you have to travel back to your banking hall and queue. And you will now be waiting for one almighty head of operation to come and identify you. But all that are gone. That's the beauty of AI today. With your app, they can do live check for you, and you move on. That is AI. That is what we should sell and communicate to them. And as agents body and agents association, we have been trying to cascade this down to the last mile. And if you ask me, what has been the impact of consumers, of AI on the consumers at the last mile? Starting from onboarding, from the onboarding process. Fintechs, let us give it to them. They have demystified what used to be something of very, very difficult for us. The onboarding process now, you can self-onboard. And for our people that are not too conversant with technology, with the aggregators and their agents, the fintechs have given out the inability of onboarding to agents and aggregators. Let us clap for them. People ask me, why don't we have bank among the top 5 service providers in payment system in Nigeria? I said, we can't have them because they are still operating without, the technology that is needed and necessary. When you ask most of the banks today, we are acquiring customers for them. After you have, I feel comfortable to acquire customers for fintech company, PamPay, OPay, and Co. Because at the touch of a button, I get things done. Am I right? And verification, everything done. But the banks, they will need you to, even they have also developed such app. But after that, they will say there is one compliance officer that must receive the hard copy of your forms. How do they want to scale and match up with the fintech companies? I used to say this. All those compliance people that you are talking about, they are supposed to be invited here. And that is why banks are having problems. The compliance team have to follow you and start from the markets, from the garages, to see the reality. And also to let them realize that compliance has gone beyond, I must see you physically. And it's also affecting us in the area of regulation. Last year, early February, our top 3 fintech companies were sanctioned and suspended from customer acquisition. Why? Because the regulators, they felt that everything they are doing is fishy. And you look at it, I have to work with some of the top providers to organize what we call a retreat for the regulators because of the problem, because I discovered that gap of understanding. What they are doing is they are only using technology to regulate, to do compliance. That is exactly what fintechs are doing. You also understand that at a point, they actually stopped all the virtual accounts. Do you know the number of businesses that were lost? You know, because of just virtual accounts. And the virtual account is not a threat. Because before I, as an aggregator, can actually integrate with a service provider like Kuda and Co., my system must comply with the requirement of that documentation. But the regulators, those guys, they are not in this era. And they are the one making regulation and policies. And if you don't bring them on board, we are going to be in problem. You are talking about blockchains. The most critical value of blockchain is actually about security. Am I right? Where is our police here? Where are the, where are the, I mean, people EFCC, where are all of them here? They are supposed to be part of this conversation. And that is why any debits at agent location, they will go and pick up agents. You understand? Because they don't have the understanding. If you have a declined transaction and you report at the police station, they will say, go and bring your statements. Is the statement the solution? A customer presented a card at agent location. The meaning of that is a debit me, and it's been debited. So why are you printing bank statements? So, but there are a lot of, understanding gap that we need to. That is the way all of us can move together. If fintech feel comfortable that we can work alone, they will continue to drag you back if we come here. I used to tell people, crypto is not a problem. It's not the problem, but we don't have that regulatory capacity to regulate crypto. And we are losing a lot of billions of dollars in earnings. Our younger population, they are one of the top customers and drivers of crypto across the world, in the world. How do we quickly, if we have the generation of 80s and 70s, 60s, as our regulators and in the banks, can we flush them and bring in the new guys that can, because if you are not a criminal, you cannot handle a criminal. If you are not been smoking ganja, you cannot be in ADLE and be successful. So the same thing, if you want to be in control, compliances in the bank, and you want to be on top of this new generation technologies and innovations, that means you have to be part of the fintech guys. Somebody also asked me, why are people leaving the bank? The tech guys are leaving the banks and moving to fintech companies. I won't mention the name of a particular service provider, has evacuated like top 5 banks in Nigeria, all their tech departments. Why is it happening? Because the banks are seeing human resources are the same thing. They see marketer and the tech guys are the same thing. And they are operating, they want to manage them the same way. So, whereas the fintech will give them an environment to work even in their room, because they know that you can physically clock your card at the office before you can deliver. And they allow them to and there is no respect for redeployment in the banking system. They can say, all of you are sacked. You are sacking who? You are sacking the engine room? And that is why when you look at the recent information, it was said that the 5 banks in Nigeria spent over 500 billion US dollars to upgrade their technology. But do we see the impact of that upgrade? You don't, it is not that you need. It's because you are not appreciating the new technology and the brains behind the new technology. You don't know that you need to pay premium to retain them. That is why once you are on a particular app build up, you flush them out, or you retrench, or you move somebody from tech department and push to marketing, or push to, you understand? And those people are leaving, and you are losing the technical know-how. Another person will come and start building again. I have I've rolled out, helped some of top banks and some of the fintechs to roll out their product. And I want to tell you that the experiences I had with banks are not palatable, because I am looking at it that how will they meet up with the fintech in the payment space, the way they are running it. So to us, I think this kind of conversation is very important, but we need to expand it beyond just the fintech ecosystem. We have to bring in the regulators. I want to see the central banks here. I want to see the, NIPS here. I want to, and we should be glad that I remember that in the last 10, 12 years ago, debits decline and all this. And if you transfer, before you can hit an account, it will be a major problem. And that is causing a sort of mistrust. But today, they will tell you, don't give me, I don't want so-so bank, give me so-so money or so-so pay. I don't want to advertise, So, and you will be surprised that your cleaner, your gardener, they all have those accounts. Because they will rather give you to, they also have bank accounts, but they will not give you bank account to receive the money. They will say, they will hold my money. You understand? Because the level of authorizations are too much. Even when they are designing technology, you understand? When they are designing technology, that's archaic orientation will still be there. That, I was having a conversation with one of the banks a day or 2 days ago. He said, Fasasi, you won't believe it that my compliance team, they wanted to sanction me because they saw us sharing terminal ID, serial number, terminal serial. They say, that's a security thing. I say, terminal serial is a security thing? And as of today, hardly will you find a bank that can issue card instantly at agent locations. How would they want to acquire customers? They will give you a contract. Go and acquire customers for us. I will tell them, how do I give them cards? And Nigerians still believe in physical channels. If you don't give them cards, they won't open an account with you. And fintechs, you will see their cards on the desk of the agents. I told the banks, EDs, I said, card that you are seeing is just plastic. It is of no security concern. It only becomes a security material when it is linked to an account. So why are you locking card in your warehouse, in your storeroom? Does it really make sense? If anybody steal social pay or social points, if they steal the card today, if it has not been linked, it is just a plastic. It won't work. So AI, blockchain has actually moved, and I feel pathetic about the country itself, because the rate at which fintechs are moving is very, very far apart, at which the other segments, and we cannot journey and achieve the whole potentials of over 200 million markets. We cannot achieve that if we are not carrying other people along. They need to move with us.
Thank you, sir.
I look at the same thing in national identity. Let me just wrap up. It's our experiences. They are saying, even I saw it in the newspaper, MD of one of the service provider, don't give your account number to people. I said, don't give your account number. What does the account number have to do with fraud? NIN, don't give your NIN to people. Today, we are not placing our priority. All these organizations, because the impact on financial inclusion is that you must now have either BVN or NIN before you can have an account. That means NIMC should be a critical part of what we are trying to do. Because all this AI that you are talking, AI is leveraging on data analytics. And your foundational data, foundational identity is with the NIMC. How many of you can verify it today? They will say it's a security issue. And how many times do you call that API? How many times is it available? The downtime. Please realize that they have not even shared with all the agencies, because the kind of identity that we are running, identity number that we are running, we are not still at the stage of that, inclusion that we are talking about. You only need your NIN. If I want to lodge into this hotel now, I should be able to give them just my NIN. They don't need any other thing. And they'll be able to see everything, because my NIN should have been linked with everywhere. Ordinary Rwanda there, it is operational. But here, you have to go with the plastic or your paper NIN. And they will even be telling you that your NIN has been suspended. It doesn't make sense to me. You have to go and look for somebody to give 30,000 naira to revalidate and bring. It doesn't make sense. Identity management will be telling you that the banks, when you get to the bank, it's because the banks have not upgraded their own software, because NIMC has upgraded our own. Please, why are government agencies are not talking to themselves? The banks link to central bank. Am I right? Central bank is a government agency. Why is that system not talking to the identity management system? Today, if automatically AI will prompt me that my mobile app is due for updates. There are pending updates. Am I right? I click and quickly move on. Why can't we replicate that in NIMC and with the banking system? And the shocker is that the bank will still be asking you. They will ask my father that is across the river, to bring your NIN. We want to link it. It is sad. We want to link your phone number with your NIN. Why should that be the business of the customer? When my SIM card is, all the details are aligned with a government agency, my NIN is another government agency, my bank is another government agency. Please, AI people, blockchain people, I won't agree with you that you are working until all these problems are solved. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much for your boisterous submission. Thank you. Just very quickly, we'll be getting the vote of thanks from our co-convener of PayFund, Mr. Chike Owebuchi. Very quickly, sir. Thank you.
I think Fasasi delivered another keynote because he spoke about the real experience of payment, the challenges that aggregators, banking agents are facing. And that also, he made mention of CBN. We made a frantic effort to bring CBN to this forum. But what is going on in CBN, nobody talks in CBN now except the governor. That's the true position. Nobody talks. Nobody attends to any function in CBN presently except the governor. Nobody will, you send letter, you say, no, it's only the governor that is allowed to speak to press or speak to the public. That's the situation we find ourselves. So this dispensation, maybe when this dispensation passes, then we can now have the real people that you have a public affairs director that is free to talk to the public. So that's the challenge. But for EFCC, I'm promising that by next year, next edition, we're going to bring EFCC to this forum. That's very important. I give that assurance I'm going to get even somebody from Office of the National Security Advisor. I also promise I'm going to get somebody from there to be at this forum by next year. So my job is to thank everyone that made it to this forum, and also those that financially supported this forum, Afrigo Pay, PAMPay, Money Point, TZ Security, Cyber Security, and a lot of the SANEF, AMBAN, both national and Lagos chapter of AMBAN, and most importantly, Lagos Blockchain Week. You people have been amazing. So we sincerely appreciate your effort, and we assure you that by next year, this is the second edition, and we're able to come this far. But by next year, we're going to take the step further. We're also looking at bringing banks, because there are issues that banks need to solve here because they are lagging behind. Also, is a digital bank that's showing them the way. You look at your bank app initially before digital banks roll out their services. You try to make payment from your banking app. It doesn't work. But when they find out that it's easier for one to make payments through, we witnessed when they were upgrading their app, they say we are not going to make transactions for 1 week or 3 days because we are trying to upgrade our app. So in order not to waste your time, so I thank everyone, and I wish us a safe trip to our various work and houses. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chike, and thank you, everybody. So I don't waste any more of your time. I think we can round up. Thank you for your patience. I know we have learned a lot, and I know that our speakers, the ones that are still available, are open to conversations and questions in case you have any. Apologies that we're not able to take questions. I know you wanted to ask a question. So sorry about that, but thank you so much for your time. Enjoy the rest of your day. And thank you to Parfum. Thank you. Yeah, the speakers should need to take refreshments. So let's allow our speakers to take refreshments, and then the rest of us can plunge in. Thank you.